This is not a dream.
Oh, hello. Oh, hang on. I think I'm on the wrong camera. Do you know what? Every time. I hope you're as sick of it as I am. Honestly, it's just. Let me just. I try and sort it out, and I get it. You wouldn't believe the preparation that I do. You would not believe it. Okay, I'm not just like sat here like a lump, twiddling with the buttons. Oh no. I'm flitting around this place, sorting out the all the production, the changing the batteries in the lights for a start. Takes me forever. Yeah, it's and I still get it wrong. Still. Anyway, one thing I have got right, my co-host, I'm gonna bring her up. There we go, Natalie.
Do you know what I think you should do is on the credits, when you're supposed to press the button, it should come up. Credits are ending. Phil, press the button now.
That's a point, isn't it? That's a good point. Maybe I should.
It's like,
yeah.
I mean, if everyone's expecting us to go wrong on the intro anyway, it can't do any harm if you auto prompt yourself on your own intro. This is not a test. Phil, press the button. The show is starting now.
Yeah, that is a good point. That is a very good point. Yeah, maybe I should do that. And it would just remind myself as well. Oh, I'm on.
Yeah, exactly.
Must be the only host doing a podcast which is surprised when he's on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting there going, right, the end credits, like, let's start the timer and see how long it takes him to realise his own intro that he's made for himself is finished. That's amazing. Even worse. It's like you've done your own intro.
It's wonderful, isn't it? I'll tell you what done me was like the camera, because I've got two cameras. I've got the camera on the PC, then I've got a separate camera which I use, because it's got loads of filters, so that it kind of like it kind of filters me in such a way that I look halfway kind of human.
Brad Pitt. Like Brad Pitt, yeah.
Brad Pitt.
Like super heavy duty.
Oh, I'm pleased you said that. That's
they
good.
can do all sorts with AI nowadays.
Yeah, so it's wonderful what it can do, isn't it? I'll be buggered when they start kind of like insisting that you have to have an AI watermark on, isn't it? You know, 'cause I'll just be sat here with a Brad Pitt watermark or something, you know.
Yeah, straight on your forehead, like
Stormer.
in Red
Yeah,
Dwarf. Got little
saw
things
that
on
too.
your eye.
It's me, really. Yeah. How you been anyway? All right.
Yes, I think because I don't know. I've had a sore throat for 3 days and I have not got much voice left, so I don't know how long it's going to last for or when the sneezing is going to start again. So if anybody suddenly hears me sounding like I'm dying, I'm not really. I'll try and mute my microphone. I think the damp's finally getting to me. Normally the British winter doesn't bother me too much, but this year it's been just damp. And it's just like you just can't get any fresh air, even when you go outside.
It must be absolutely where the horses are must be waterlogged.
It's not too bad because they're on a track system alongside a canal and train tracks, so the drainage is quite good usually because of the canal and the train. So they're reasonably happy, but they're not going down to the field. They're just like, I'm not going through that mud. I'm going to stay on the concrete.
Right.
But yeah, so they're all getting a little bit full of it now because they're not doing enough exercise. But yeah, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. So I'm not complaining too much.
No.
Not complain a bit, otherwise we wouldn't be British.
Yeah. Yeah, got to talk about the weather and complain.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, got to, haven't we? Got to do that. Well, no, it's I hope your voice gets better. Not. But...
Yeah. For everybody listening, I've refrained from telling Phil I've been losing my voice for 3 days now, so that he didn't pick on me because I spent so much time like.
Yeah, no, it's you just like kind of didn't want to make my because I wouldn't be that sympathetic with her. I'd be like,
no. To be fair, I'm not sympathetic to you either, so I suppose really I deserve
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I've been put in Facebook jail. For people that don't know, I've been put in Facebook jail for the past seems like a couple of years now, I think. But to me, it seems a long time. But it's only been since Monday. And this is over sharing. The algorithm saw me as being spam because I was sharing out to a lot of pages, and it's a funny one, Natalie, because on the one hand I was appealing it, okay, and on the one hand I said to them, look, you crave creators and their content, you crave it because without it you can't put your adverts, and you like putting up your adverts so you get more money and monetize and so and there's an awful lot of and creators are good because otherwise all it's going to be is existing content just like kind of twirling around and being reshared and reshared and reshared, which we often see. So creators are really cool. So but I went a step too far in their eyes, and I was sharing too much, and so
too much at once, I think, was the big problem. It's not that you were sharing. I think you had a sharing session, didn't you, and just shared that much. They thought you were a spam bot.
Spam bot. Yeah, they did. So but I'm out of jail now.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Right. What we're going to do? We're going to bring up our guest now. We've got a lovely guy. He goes by the name. You'll know him. You'll love him. By Swampdogg. Okay. For people in the UK, if you haven't heard of him, he is an experiencer of cryptids and like Bigfoot, or we would know as Janu, or we would know as Woodwoes, and also Dogman. He has an awful lot of accounts, and there's one in particular which I advertised about this. Okay, one account which now I just want to say one thing before he comes on. Okay, now to people out there, please be kind. Okay, from the point of view of it's very, very difficult, and I get it. Unless you've had an experience, it's very difficult to take in other people's accounts. It's very difficult to understand how it affects that witness. It's difficult to get over. It's hard. It's something which you really have to kind of experience yourself. But he's very brave coming on because you know he's had experiences which are way out there. You know, I mean, sort of he's had some really close calls, and he's willing to share them with you. So please be respectful, and I shall bring Swampdogg on now. Here we go. Hello, sir.
Hey, how you guys doing? Nice to be here.
Good. Thank you very much for coming on. I'm just going to turn the chats on over here. I'm going to move people about so that it's not in the way of the chats. Okay. All right then. And that's good there. I think we're okay. Let's make sure the chats are good. Yeah. So what you been up to, Swampdogg? What's going on? What are you up to now?
Well, like you, what I've been hearing, I've been up to no good just like you. You know what I mean?
Good. Good. It's fun, isn't it? Getting up to no good is fun.
Yeah. It's funny. My wife's over here cracking up. My wife is cracking up right now. She's laughing.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, well, tell her this is we charge for laughing on this show, mate.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, everybody knows me by Swampdogg and the cryptid world, you know what I mean? And I also have some friends in the paranormal world too, you know what I mean? So I mean, I talk to everybody, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to put the puzzle together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I was telling earlier, I've been having encounters. I call them the watchers because, that's what the natives taught me to say. But everybody knows them as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. I call them the watchers. But I've been having encounters since the fall of 1989 when I was a senior in high school. That's when all this has started for me. And I had a lot of encounters throughout the years. With the big hairy guy.
Okay, I'm going to put up a QR code now. What this is for people watching this, if you open up your camera, stick it on the QR code, it's going to take you directly to his YouTube channel. I would strongly recommend you check it out, like, subscribe. Okay, definitely. Give the guy some traffic for goodness sake, because he's out there doing this, and it takes a lot going out investigating. It's ever so easy to stay at home with your feet up, drinking a cup of cocoa and watching stuff on TV. It's hard going out there, getting kitted out and getting up there. Right, this is the QR code, and I'm just going to put a banner up just to show. Okay, there we go. Right. And also what I'm going to do, Swamp, I'm going to, you don't mind me calling you Swamp, do you?
You call me Swampdogg, Swamp. Yeah. Everybody calls me Swamp all the time too. All my friends.
Okay, that's cool. Okay.
So you're my friend, so you call me Swamp. You have to call me Swampdogg,
Okay. All right, lovely. All right. And I always have a habit. I don't know what it is. I think it might be a UK thing. I don't know, but we kind of it doesn't matter what anyone's name is, we kind of shorten it to its very shortest.
Oh yeah, we do it here too. We do it here too.
Yeah.
It's like I call my wife pain in the ass, you know what I mean? Or you all got a little nickname, and
Yeah. You, Mrs. Honestly, in the truck, you got every right, and I would like kind of just say, you've got every right in the world. Just give him a thump. Give him a thump if he's out of order.
Give me a bump.
Right. Let's get up your YouTube channel just to show people.
Yeah, I just started this YouTube channel. I just started it, off and on, a couple months back, and It was literally supposed to be about off-roading with, you know, 4x4s and doing overland camping and hunting and my fishing. But then somehow, some way, people talked me into talking about my encounters on my channel, and you know, what I mean, and you know, talking to other podcasts and stuff, you know. So it
I
just kind
noticed-
of got, you know, I mean, it's just a wave of different things. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed Swampdogg, you went to Winslow, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's that one video right there that you're showing.
Okay, folks,
Yeah.
Okay, I had an encounter about a quarter mile up the road from that area right there. Back, I believe, was in 95 or 96. And you know, that's one of the trails that I used to go through, you know what I mean, with my 4x4s, you know. I'm the type of guy with the big trucks with the big tires, and you know what I mean, like it takes my wife to you mean grab a ladder to get in the truck, you know.
Yeah.
But you mean about a quarter mile from this area right here, that's where I had one of my encounters with the watchers. But yeah, with the Bigfoot Sasquatch creatures.
Okay, right. Do you know, I'm a bit like that, you know, but when it comes to, you know, with getting in and out, you know, needing a ladder. I've only got like a Citroen C2. It's a two-door, tiny little car, but I still need a ladder. I'm only short, you see, so I find it a bit difficult to hop in, so I've got a little step up. No, I like those big trucks. I do like them big trucks. I remember being in the States and driving a van, 2.25 or 3. Might have been. It had a twin wheelbase at the back, so it had like 4 wheels at the back, and then you had your hitch would be in the bed of the truck at the back. So you lift up a panel, and the hitch would be in the bed. You know, whereas here we have like a tow bar. The back, but yeah, the hitch will be in the back of the bed. You know.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Yeah, that was good. Right, let's get the comments up. I'm just going to run through quickly, if it's okay, before we get tucked into your accounts you've had. Going to just mention some of the people in the chat that we have on at the moment. Let's have a look. Let's get the chat up. Right, we got Ready Steady Retro. Hello, thank you for joining us. We've got Kate, moderator. Hello, Kate. Thank you very much for being on. Appreciated. What would we do without you, Kate? Discovering the unknowns. Yes. Hello there, Dragonborn. I haven't heard from you in ages. I hope you're keeping well. Delroy Kelly, respect. Hello, mate. Our Dawn Sasquatch sister. We've got Sasquatch sister on. Hello, Dawn. Let's have a quick fly through. Goldfish Paranormal. Never heard of it. Let's have a look. We've got Roxy B. Yep. Hello, Roxy. Thank you very much for admin. Keith Aston. Hello, Keith. Any questions at all? Okay, including the Janu. I'm not sure if Swampdogg will know about Janu, but we'll ask him in a minute or two. Yep, and I did see Mr. Pegler as well. Crop up. Oh, Susan Voosden. Hello, Susan. Great the other week. Brilliant ghost hunt. Lots of EVPs. And yes, the next one. Say no more. Right. Okay. Have you heard, Swampdogg, of Janu? Have you heard of that being used with the Bigfoots?
No, I never heard of that.
Okay.
Janu? No.
There's a guy called Matthew Dr. J, which is Matthew Johnson, and he runs Camp Janu, and he's written quite a few books and stuff like that. And he met a Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot said, "We don't like being called Bigfoot. We like being called Janu." It's that. It comes from that. Yeah, just wondered if you were aware of that. What you know, that's another facet of Bigfoot, which is out there. Right. What was the first time that you had your first encounter with, let's go back to when you were a kid. Did you have a cryptid encounter when you were younger?
The first time that I ever had an encounter was, like I said, was in 1989. I was a senior in high school. That was the first time I ever had an encounter. I call them the Watchers. The Native Americans always tell me to respect them, and you know, I mean, they call them Watchers, or they call them, you know, something else. They don't like to be called, you know, Bigfoot or, you know, Sasquatch. You know what I mean? So I mean, I call them Watchers. You know, and but yeah, that was the first time I had my encounter. Was in '89. I mean, I was 18 years old. I was a senior in high school. So yeah.
Okay.
And,
what happened? What's it happened? I mean,
well, you know how teenagers are. You know, especially when you're in your last year of high school. We were out. We were out in the woods. You know, I was with a buddy of mine, and he was with his girlfriend, and I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we were out. We were out in the woods, and you know, I mean, listening to Led Zeppelin, and you know, I mean, doing what teenagers do, you know. And what happened was, I had a Pontiac, you know, Fiero. I don't know if you know what that is. And then you mean, and you know, my buddy of mine at the time had a Camaro. So our cars were kind of low because, I mean, we had little sports cars, you know. And going in the woods, you see like the sand in Jersey, we call it, to me, like just sugar sand. It's a real fine sand, and if you're not careful, you'll get stuck in it. You know what I mean, if you don't have, you know, 4x4. So we went in the woods. We're partying. We're having a good time. You know, doing what teenagers do. And this place was out in the woods, but you know, they had a field where there's little airplanes. I mean, there's little crop airplanes. Jimmy, they used to take off and land. You know what I mean? And we were at the field part. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean, up against the wood line of the woods. And I happened to look up. I don't know, about you know, 50 yards, you know, maybe 60 yards. There was like a hill. And I looked up on the hill and I saw something walking right to left, left to right. And I'm looking, I didn't say nothing to my friend yet. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I mean, what the hell's that? You know what I mean? I thought was some, you know, I mean, like a bomb or somebody that lives out in the woods. You know what I mean? But I'm 6'2", and it looked way too big. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And after a few minutes of looking at this, I got a hold of my friend. I said, yeah, I mean, what's that guy doing? And he's looking and he says, I don't know, but he's big. And I said, yeah, he's big, but he looks mad. And he's waving his arms. He's just walking left to right, left to right. Now, we're looking at it for a few minutes, and the girls, they said, yo, I guess they were uncomfortable. You know, they wanted to leave. I'm like, no, hold up. I want to see what this guy's doing, you know? So we were there, I don't know, maybe about you know, 10, 15 minutes, you know, looking at this thing. And my friend kept saying, yo, he's big. He's like 8 foot. I said, yeah. I mean, I'm 6'2", and my buddy of mine, he's like 6 foot, you know, even. And we're looking at this thing, and finally, I'm staring at it, and the girls want to go. I'm arguing with them. I said, hold up, I want to see what this guy's doing. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, I was amazed how big it was. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Like, you know. So what had happened was, behind us in the wood line, we heard like a branch break. And when it broke, it sounded like a shotgun went off. And when that happened, you know, we looked and we didn't see anything, but we jumped in our cars And we went to take off because, you know what I mean? Now things are
Yeah.
getting serious because we heard this sound in the back.
Yeah.
So me having my Fiero and my friend of mine having the Camaro, when we were pulling out of the woods, you mean going to this little trail, you mean like to get out of the woods, my friend of mine was in front of me and he got stuck on the sugar stand. So I went around him. And when I went around him, I went by him, I went around him, and then he got unstuck and we both got out of there. I mean, so like, you know, we drove a mile away and I stopped on the shoulder of the road and I got out of the car and so did he. And then the girls were crying because they got scared. You know what I mean? They were crying. And I was like, yo, what the hell was that? And he was like, I don't know. I said, I think I know what that was. And he's like, what? I said, dude, I think that was a Bigfoot. And he looked at me and said, it can't be. I said, dude, what's 8 feet tall and it's dark? I mean, we saw it. There's nobody 8 feet tall that's in our town. You know what I mean? And like, you know, we're putting 2 to 2 together. And at first he didn't want to admit it, but I'm telling him that was a Bigfoot. I said, that was a Bigfoot. And Jimmy, this is my favorite. Well, Jimmy, my favorite encounter because I'm going to tell you why. So we dropped off the girls and we met up at a diner, and we're sitting in the booth and we're talking about this because we're trying to figure this out. And I kept telling him, I said, yo, that's a Bigfoot. He said, there's no way. We live in southern New Jersey. I mean, all that stuff is out west. You know what I mean? Out Northern California, Canada, Alaska. And I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know, but I'm telling you that this was a Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Like in my heart, that's what it was. 8 foot tall. This thing was huge. I mean, huge. I mean, you know what I mean? And so there was an off-duty police officer that was having like dinner with his wife. I guess he was hearing our conversation. He gets out of his booth and he comes to our booth and he's standing there. He says, he overheard us talking about this. He said, where you guys was? I says, we were at the Overland airport, you know what I mean, off of 47, off of Route 47. And, you know, he said, you know, that's private property. And like, we know he was a cop because we knew, you know what I mean? So I'm like, we didn't say much. And he says, you know, you guys got to be careful when you're going back in the woods because there's things out there that you guys don't know nothing about. And when he said that, that clicked in my head. As this cop knows something. So he just said, be careful when you're going out in the woods, especially out in that area. So then he went back to his booth and me and my friend just looking at each other. We got the bill, we left, we paid the bill, and we took off. That was my first encounter.
Oh, it'd be so nice. Be so nice to talk to him, wouldn't it? Be so nice to talk to that cop. That
yeah. But you know, he was kind of upset because we were there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the reason why this is one of my, my best ones that I like to talk about is because about 7-8 years later after this, I had met my wife, and you know, we were going out. Well, for about 2 or 3 months, right before I met your parents. I'm going out with her for about 2 or 3 months before I met her parents. So, Jimmy, they lived up in Gloucester City, New Jersey, about, I don't know, 40 minutes like north of us. And I went to go meet her parents. You know what I mean? And at the time, I was an over-the-road truck driver. I mean, I was running all 48 states in Canada.
Okay.
And so, you know, they were kind of interested in me being a truck driver, over-the-road truck driver. So when I met her parents, I mean, they were talking about my career and my stuff. And I was telling them stuff about stories of where I've been, California, Texas, you know what I mean, up Canada and all that, you know. And so like, you know, we're having coffee and we're having bagels, and then my wife, at the time my girlfriend, told her father, he said, yo, tell Swamp about what happened to you. And I didn't know he was from my hometown. My father-in-law was born and raised in my hometown. So he didn't want to talk about it. And then my wife kept telling him, come on, Dad, tell Swamp about what happened to you when you were a kid. So then, you know, finally he agreed to talk about it. And he was saying, like, in that area where I had my first encounter, back when he was a teenager, like 13 or, you know, 14 years old, I guess him and his buddy used to go camping out there. And one night, you know, they were out there, you mean they pitched their tent, they made the campfire, they were cooking hot dogs and stuff over the fire. And Jimmy, they were hanging around the fire. There were like 4 guys, you know, there. And the same thing happened to me, happened to my father-in-law. My father-in-law looked up on this same hill, and he saw this creature that was about 8-9 feet tall, and it was just standing there looking at them by the campfire. And as he's telling me this, I'm remembering what happened to me back in '89. I didn't say nothing. And I asked him, I says, are you talking about the airport that was right off of Route 47? He says, yeah. Well, at the time it wasn't an airport, but like he knew what I was talking about, the area. Yeah. And I was like, all right. And he told me that a creature was staring at him. He was looking at it, and nobody saw it but him. And then when his friends noticed him looking at something, they turned around and they saw this creature about 8-9 feet tall. And when they all turned around to look at it, they stood up. And when they stood up, this creature came down the hill, like walking down the hill, like towards them. And Jimmy, that's when they took off. You know what I mean? They jumped on their bicycles and they took off.
Okay. And then that was who was that again that told you this?
My father-in-law.
Okay, right. So
my wife's father.
Right. Okay, your wife's father. Right. Okay, then.
Okay. At the time, it was my girlfriend, but now she's my wife. You know. But
yeah.
But and when he was telling me this, I didn't say nothing about what happened to me, and that's, you know, that kind of blew my mind. Then I started thinking. Yo, this thing was, I seen it in '89. He had seen it back in the early, 50s. So this thing's been around for a long time. And I'm driving my truck and I'm thinking, and my wife, well, she's my girlfriend at the time, she was like, what's on your mind? I said, you know that story your father told us about when he saw that creature? And then she said, yeah. I said, I had an encounter there with the same type of creature back in '89 when I was a senior in high school. And she looked at me, I said, I'm telling you the guy's on the truth. That's what happened. And it's been there all these years. And I didn't want to say nothing to her dad, you know what I mean? But yeah, because at that time, I didn't want to talk about nothing, you know what I mean?
Wow.
I just told her.
Swampdog, can I ask, or can you ask Mrs. Swampdog, did her father, when she was growing up, when she was younger, did he ever mention any of these stories to her?
Her father was a hunter, just like I am. He was a woodsman, just like me. Always in the woods, always camping, hunting, always doing our fishing. We were always in the woods. Her father told the story to her brother, and her other sister one time. And like, when they were kids and they used to go hunting, my father-in-law made sure everybody got to their deer stand, and then he went to his deer stand.
He'd walk everybody.
And he was always careful about walking through the woods and like you know what I mean, like you know.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So
but
you
he
saying
never really talked about this creature except for this one time. That's what they told them, you know.
So are you saying that Mrs. Swampdog's father used to make sure that whenever him and the kids were out, they would always be within striking distance of a tree stand for safety?
Right.
A separate ones, one for father, one for the kids. Is that right?
It was each kid had a deer stand. Each kid had a deer stand. So as he's walking through the woods, he's put one kid on one, and then go about 100 yards, put another kid on one, and go maybe another 75 yards and put another kid on one, and then he went in his stand. And he also did it to adult hunters.
Yeah.
His buddies, it was like he was like a big brother to everybody, and he always made sure everybody was good, and then he went in his stand or blind, whatever he had. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. All right.
Except for me, he didn't care about me. I think he wanted me, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't
when you were.
Yeah, when I used to go hunt with him, I used to let him walk in front of me. I stayed behind him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
You know?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But that's why that's my favorite story, because with my encounter with 89, and then 7, 8 years later, I'm hearing about another encounter in the same area, and it was with my father-in-law. That's why I always say this is my best encounter. You know what I mean? Because it keeps my father-in-law here with me. So, yeah.
Can you what's the area like? I mean, from the point of view of in your mind, is there anything why it would stay around that area? Now, I guess that there's an airport in the area, or used to be an airport.
It's
airstrip.
It's not even a blacktop airport. It's for this little like you know, crop planes. You know what I mean? When they dust the farms and stuff. I mean, little bitty airplanes. Wasn't even no blacktop or nothing on it. It was just all grass and woods around it. You know what I mean? I don't live too far away from the Pine Barrens. I don't know if you ever heard of the Pine Barrens.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I don't live too far away from the Pine Barrens. So you know, we have over 1 million acres of woods. I mean, with the Pine Barrens, and we have other forests that's connected to the Pine Barrens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so. I'm in the bottom of Jersey. You mean like I'm in the South Jersey? So you know, we got the Pine Barrens, we got ponds, we got the cranberry pods, we got lakes, rivers. You know what I mean? It's all, you know what I mean? It's a little woodsy down here. You know, all woods and farms. All woods and farms. We got horse farms. We got vegetable farms. We got all kinds of farms. Cranberry farms. We got everything.
Yeah. Did your father-in-law have horses, or did he have any livestock?
No.
Not where he lived.
No, they live like Jimmy. They live in a city, and it was only maybe like a 20-minute ride, and they went out in the Pine Barrens. Yeah, about 20 minutes to a half hour. You know, to wherever they want to hunt or hike or camp or whatever they want to do, fishing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And you know, but my wife's aunts, you know, she had a horse farm and a pig farm up probably about 10 minutes away from their house, you know, so, you know, they were always over there too, you know.
Did you ever question father-in-law? He's still around, isn't he? He's still.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he passed away like 8 years ago, right? 8 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for that, Mrs. Swampdog. Did you ever get a chance to actually ask his opinion, what he thought these things were?
He never wanted to talk about it.
No.
My father-in-law never was. I tried talking to him one time over a couple of beers, and I was figuring after his 6th or 7th beer, he might be little one of.
Yeah.
I mean, like you talk about it, he never even want to talk about it. I tried a few times to talk to him about it, but he never want to talk about it. It was
Strange, isn't
just
it?
that one time he told me the story, and that was it. He never want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
And he always told me because he didn't like me going in the woods because I used to spot my deer like in the middle of the night. So you mean I go in the woods like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'll hike 2, 3, 4, 5 miles into the woods looking for deer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean that's what I like to do, and he didn't like me doing that. He did not wanted me to do that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I always carried, you know what I mean, my gun with me and all that stuff, you know, because we got coyotes. It's like I was telling you earlier, you know, we even have rattlesnakes in South Jersey. You know, people might say, "Oh, there's rattlesnakes." I had come across a couple of rattlesnakes in my lifetime walking in the woods in South Jersey. You know what I mean? So I always carried my pistol, and you know what I mean. But my father-in-law, he never liked it when I went in the woods by myself at 2 or 3 in the morning. You know what I mean? But that's what I like to do. You know.
He had a strong constitution then, 6 or 7 beers, and he still didn't spill. You know, it only takes. I tell you what, only takes me
about it.
couple of Cointreau in a
couple
glass,
beers, couple shots.
My guts.
Nothing. He never wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
And he always told me, be careful because there's things in the woods that you don't even know about. And one is this creature, but there's other things in the Pine Barrens, you know. The Pine Barrens, I'm going to tell you about the Pine Barrens. The Pine Barrens is a beautiful place during the day. A beautiful place. But when that sun goes down, it's a totally different world. I mean, you'll hear things, you'll see things. I've been going into Pine Barrens since I was 17 years old. And me and my friends, we heard some stuff in their howls. We heard like screams. I seen like we call them pinies here in Jersey, but in other places like like the Appalachian Mountains, they call them like feral people. We had them in South Jersey, but we call them ponies.
Yeah. Got Ready Steady Retro just said Jersey Devil, and we've also got Discovering the Unknowns, Rich Ethan. Yeah,
that's my brother right there. That's my buddy. That's my brother right there. Yeah, we talk all the time.
Yeah. So Jersey Devil.
Yeah, well, I never seen the Jersey Devil. I heard stuff in the woods, but you know, I never seen anything like that. You know what I mean? My thing about the Jersey Devil is I think people were mistaking that with the Watchers. That's my thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think. I think people were mistakenly looking at a Bigfoot, but they came up with a story with the Jersey Devil. I don't know. That's me.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt for a second. I'm not massive familiar with a lot of Bigfoot lore. What can you just explain to me briefly about what the Jersey Devil is, or supposed to be, or the story?
The Jersey Devil is supposed to be. It was the Lee's family. It was the 13th child that was born, and before the child was born, the mother. I guess she was upset and she was in a lot of pain and a lot of stress. And she said, "May this be the devil." You know what I mean? And, supposedly when the baby was born, a few minutes after the baby was born, it turned into this creature.
Oh, wow.
And by what story is, it's supposed to kill everybody, the midwife, the mother, the father, and I think I don't know, some other siblings, and it supposedly went up the chimney out to the sky and it flew away. But that's what Now I have a friend that his bloodline is from the Leeds, family. So yeah, that's the Jersey Devil right there. That's what they say what the Jersey Devil is.
That's quite terrifying. Do they think it's still out there then, or?
Oh yeah, there's people that still think this thing is around. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, there's people. I hear people talking about it all the time. That this thing is still around. I never seen it. You know what I mean? I had my encounters with Bigfoot and Dogman, but I never seen anything with the Jersey Devil. You know what I mean?
Lucky you haven't, by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Well, I've been all over the Pine Barrens. As like I said, the Pine Barrens is over 1 million acres, and I've been all over every inch of the Pine Barrens. I'm 54 years old. I've been going in there since I was 17 years old. So I camped. I went wheeling with the 4-wheel drive trucks and stuff all over the Pine Barrens. I mean, they got beautiful ponds where you go fishing. And you mean a lot of camping areas and stuff. But like I said, during the day, it's very beautiful to go there during the day. At nighttime, you got to have your head on a swivel. And all honestly, I don't go in there without packing a gun. I don't. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time I go to the Pine Barrens, I'm carrying a gun. Always, always, always. I don't go there without a gun.
With the Jersey Devil, I think the folklore behind it, the accounts. I mean, I truly do think that it does exist. I think it does exist. I think people do see it. But the whole lore behind it strikes me as being chords of witchcraft. There's witchcraft. There's incantations.
I come up to some spots in the Pine Barrens that I know that they're doing with devil worshiping. You could see, I forget what you call that, but the star they make, and all that stuff. Yeah. I seen animals that has been used for, I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but used for sacrifice. I seen that stuff in the middle out there. You know what I mean? And it's not a very nice thing to see, when you're out in the woods, out and about, But there's things out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is. I have seen I mean, I've got a thing with squirrels, but I have seen squirrels kind of unalived, let's put it that way, so we don't get a strike. Right. Unalived on purpose, attached to a tree in a particular way. Do you know?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And like the Pine Barrens, I don't. If you don't know the area and you want to go in there, you got to be very, very careful. I mean, even the game wardens want you out of there before the sun sets. You know what I mean? They don't like to see people camping in there, and they rather have you out of the woods before the sun goes down. You know what I mean? And it's true. I mean, now there's a bow hunter who went missing. He's from Mace Landing, New Jersey. And, to make the story short, he went in there hunting and he disappeared and they never found his body.
Oh, really?
They found his truck, but they never found him. Nothing. None of his hunting equipment, nothing with him. This guy just disappeared. You know what I mean?
How long ago was this? Did he have? Was it in the era of mobile phones? Was it in that sort of era?
It was a few years back. I live in Vineland, New Jersey, and he lived in Mace Landing, and it's probably about 15, 20 minutes away from my house. My house to his house. So I mean that's how
Yeah.
close. You
Yeah.
know.
Wow.
But
Okay.
he went missing in the Pine Barrens. They searched for him for weeks, and they never found him. I got another one for you.
Another girl.
Now, do you know what I mean? That's an older couple. They went on a ride on their 4-wheeler. Like you mean the dirt bikes? You mean 4-wheelers?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They went missing, and I've been doing research on this one too. When they found them, okay, they found these two, but when they found them face down, unalive, and the dirt bike, the 4-wheeler that they were using was parked right next to the bodies. They were unalive, and they can't figure out because they was doing like investigation on this, and nobody killed them, nobody shot them, nobody. They were just perfectly normal. But when they found them like face down,
Yeah.
unalive, and they still till today can't figure out how they passed away.
Sort of like they just dropped down, just fell where
They found them face down in the dirt. Both of them. They were laying alongside of each other, and they're face down in the dirt, and they were unalive. And it wasn't a robbery, it was nothing because the dirt bike's there. The key was in it. You know what I mean? Like, if they're going to get robbed, somebody would take the dirt bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're going to take the dirt bike. You're going to take the dirt bike.
Yeah. And there's another girl, a couple, was it last year? She was in the Pine Barrens. She got stuck. They got, videos of her. You know what I mean? And, but they never found her either. She's missing.
They're always checking them.
And I've been kind of doing my research on that one too. You know what I mean? But she was farther up north, but she was in the Pine Barrens. You know what I mean? And she went missing. So the Pine Barrens, like I said, the Pine Barrens can be a very dangerous place. A very dangerous place.
Do you ever mix with or come across any rangers? Do you ever?
Oh yeah. Me being in the woods, they know me.
Okay, right. What do they reckon? What do they say?
Yeah, they tell they just tell me to be careful, watch my back. They know of me and who I am. Now they know really what I do. And but I mean, it's like I said, they prefer for people to get out of the Pine Barrens before the sun goes down.
Are they aware of what strangeness is going on?
They act like they don't know, but they know. I could tell by the way they talk, their body actions, and oh, you're gonna spend the night over here? It's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm camping out here, or I'm doing some night fishing over there. You mean like at this pond or lake or whatever? But they just said, be careful. You know what I mean? They never say nothing, but oh yeah, they know there's stuff going on in there. You know what I mean? Everybody always talks about like the LBL. I don't know if you heard of the LBL.
Yeah.
With all the story that goes on in LBL, and I talked to a few friends of mine about the Pine Barrens. My opinion is the Pine Barrens is like 3 times worse than the LBL. I mean, the LBL got nothing to do, nothing better than the Pine Barrens. I mean, the Pine Barrens, if I was going to camp out in one place by myself, I'd rather camp out in the LBL than camp out in the Pine Barrens if I was by myself. Because a lot goes on in the Pine Barrens, you know what I mean?
Because with the land between the lakes, as I understand it to be, it's a man-made lake, isn't it? Is it a man-made lake? It was flooded.
It's a lake, yeah. it's a lake that's between Tennessee and then Kentucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's huge.
And
It's
you know,
huge.
oh yeah, and you mean they have a lot of encounters with the Bigfoot creatures. You know what I mean? The Dogman creatures, and I heard other stuff too. You know what I mean? But
Because you had that famous report there, that massacre, didn't you?
yeah,
At the
yeah,
NBL.
yeah.
But that's
Yeah, that
kind of
fam-
been debunked. That's kind of been debunked, isn't it?
I
In a
heard,
way.
I hear different stories about that. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
don't know. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I don't like to say yay or nay because I wasn't there. You know what I mean? I
That's
just,
exactly right. That's
yeah,
exactly right. We can't ultimately judge because we
yeah.
just
I don't
weren't
judge.
there.
Yeah,
You know.
I don't judge
Um,
because, like I said, I wasn't there. You know,
have
but
you or Mrs. Swampdog ever had anything follow you home?
I didn't hear that
Have
again.
you
Sir?
have you or Mrs. Swampdog ever had anything follow you home? Have you had anything at home? Not even cryptid wise. Have you had anything strange, odd, any unexplained, what you would class as maybe being just not natural, paranormal, supernatural going on
Well,
because of your interest in cryptids?
this Dogman creature, I've been having encounters since 2024. August of 2024, the last week of August, was the first time that I had an encounter with this, like, Dogman creature. And it's been nothing but hell. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Me and my wife, but, but mostly me, been going through a lot with this thing. A couple of days before Christmas of this year, me and my wife were having a little spat. So she ended up sleeping on the couch, and I went to bed. And we have dachshunds. And my little dachshund, Diesel, he always sleeps with his papa. So we went to sleep, and you have to understand this dachshund, I watched him be born, right? And he never growled. He never was a mean dog. He never barked. Even when the mailman came to the door, he never barked. I mean, he's the most loving, dachshund you can ever meet. So around 2:30 in the morning, he started growling. I never heard him growl. And how old is he? So 8 years old? Never heard him growl. And then he's 8 years old. So, dachshunds, they like to sleep under the covers. I mean, they like to bury themselves underneath the covers. And he also always lays up against my leg. Always. So I lifted up the covers and I said, Diesel, what's wrong? Because I was shocked because I heard him growl. I'm like, oh, finally he's manning up, right? So I lifted up the covers and his hair on his back was standing straight up. And I'm looking at him. I said, Diesel, what's wrong? And he looks at me and he looks at the window. And he started growling, right? So then I put the covers back over him. I said, go back to sleep. Everything's okay. Daddy's here. So I get up out of bed. I'm already up. This is 2:30 in the morning. So I went to the bathroom. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go outside and smoke a cigarette because, we don't smoke in the house. And so, I put my hoodie on. I have my phone on me because I'm a diesel mechanic and I own a mobile business. So, if you break down on the side of the road, I come to you and fix your truck.
Okay.
So that's why I always keep the phone on me in case I get a call in the middle of the night. So I went outside. I went to smoke a cigarette. And halfway through the cigarette, I hear a growl. When I hear the growl, I knew exactly what it was, but I couldn't see nothing. Now, we got coyotes and we got fox and we got other big dogs walking through the neighborhood sometimes, but it wasn't that type of growl. I knew what it was. And I'm standing there. I'm not moving an inch. I'm listening, and I'm just hearing this thing walking kind of behind my shed into my neighbor's yard, but kind of walking. And I'm just listening to this thing, and I hear it growl, and I'm hearing it walk. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
By people. So then, you know what I mean? My animal control friend, who's been doing research with me, I called him up at, you know what I mean, at that time of night. He picks up and he says, Swamp, what's wrong? I said to him, I said, yo, they're here. And he thought I was out in the middle of the woods where we do our research. And I said, no, I'm home. And he said, what? I says, I'm home. He said, where you at? I said, I'm in my backyard. I said, they're here. He says, I'll be there. He only lives 5 minutes away from me. So he shows up and I'm listening to this thing, but yet I haven't seen nothing. I hear it, but I don't see nothing. I'm hearing the growl, hearing the walk, it's making, noises and stuff. He walks up my driveway and he's got his gun in his hand. He says to me, you got your gun? I'm like, no. I says, I didn't move from this spot since I called you. I says, and I don't want to wake Tammy up because if this thing is what I think it is, I don't want her upset because of what had happened to her. So we're listening to this thing and we're standing there about 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, this Dogman creature comes out from behind my shed. And he just stands there and he's looking at me and animal control. God, my friend. He looks at me, I look at him. I said, I told you, he's turning white. You don't know what to do because we live in a residential area. We really can't shoot this thing because there's houses all the way around us. Okay. We're not in the woods. We're in a residential area. We're in my backyard. And it mind spoke to me. Now, I always heard of mind speak, but it never happened to me until that night. And mine spoke to me and it said, I will always be there and I'm not leaving. And when it said that, I was getting ready to say, what the F do you want with me? And why are you doing this? But before I can even say what, it walked into a portal and it disappeared. And when that happened, my friend of mine, now he's animal control, he's law enforcement, animal control, He turned white. His hand was shaking, and I had to ask him, I said, yo, you got your safety on your gun? Because his hand was shaking so bad that I actually thought he was going to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? I was afraid of him pulling the trigger. He looks at me and he says, Swamp, this is a little bit too much that we can bite. You know what I mean? And then he says, I don't think I want to deal with this anymore. This is not like, flesh and blood creature like a Sasquatch, like you talked about, he says to me. And he was just white as a ghost. He was scared. You know what I mean? I wasn't scared, but I was like blown away because I never seen a portal and I never had anything mind speak to me. Never.
Okay. 1 minute. Okay. All right, people at home, listen, what we're going to do. All right. Any questions, start with caps on for the questions. Okay. So that it can be highlighted. Then Roxy, admin will just star it and bring it up and we'll have the question Q&A session towards the end of the show. I promise. Okay. So any questions, all right, put them up in the comments for Swampdogg and his wife. Okay. That would be great. Just want to get it out there so that you guys at home know. All right, we welcome, and he welcomes any questions. He said that before the beginning of the show. That's great.
I welcome many questions.
Right. Okay. First off, my what I've got to ask is the voice you heard in your head. This mind speak. Okay. What did it have a characteristic to it? Did it sound like? What did it sound like, Swamp
It
Dog?
sounded pure evil. It sounded like a guttural sound. It just sounded pure evil. I mean, it was like low guttural sound. And when it
Did it
said,
sound robotic? Did it sound a bit robotic to you?
everybody asked me that. I don't say it sounded robotic. It just had a guttural sound to it, deep guttural sound. You know what I mean? I never. It's like I said, I never experienced mind speak. I always heard people talk about it, and then as far as portals go, I heard people talk about portals, but I never thought portals were real until it happened to me. The portal that I seen it walk in, it was perfectly square portal. Okay.
Yeah.
The portal, you know how when you put like bed sheets on a line outside to dry off after you do laundry? You know how when the wind blows it, you know what I mean, kind of it does one of these things. See,
Yeah.
that's what that portal was doing. Before it turned around and walked into this portal, it looked at me one more time like, yeah, like like the way that it was looking at me, it was saying that this is really happening. It walked into the portal and it disappeared. And I've been through a lot of stuff, but I never in my life I've ever been through that. And my friend of mine, Animal Control, he was real upset. Now, you know, these guys, they're like, you know how cops are. They're always in the gym. They got muscles. They're tough guys. You know what I mean? They're like military. You know what I mean? These are the type of guys that are my friends, you know? And he was, you know, if he's watching, I'm not trying to make fun of him, but he was almost in tears. I mean, this poor guy was white. I mean,
you find a lot of police officers are ex-military as well, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did he hear the voice as well, or was it just you?
I asked him. I said, "Did you hear that?" He said, "No." And I said, "It spoke to me." I said, "You didn't hear that?" He says, "No." And when I said it spoke to me, he looked at me like I was out there. You know what I mean? Because he didn't hear it. I did.
Okay.
So
he was speaking directly to you. It's like,
to me.
I am here in your yard, and you are hearing this message.
Yeah. And this is my property. My property. So then, after he left, like my wife came up and she said, "What's wrong?" And I really didn't want to tell her what had happened because now this thing is at my house. You know what I'm saying? So me and him, we end up like telling her what happened, and she got all upset, and you know, because of what happened to her that time when I shot it 4 times, and you know, she just didn't want nothing to do with it. At that time. She didn't want nothing to do with it, and but it's just been a living hell. You know what I mean? It's just been a living hell. You know, and then like me, after my friend left, I got on the phone and I started messaging the people that I know who do research, other podcasts, and you know what I mean? I'm telling them what happened. They got a hold of me back, you know, and I told them exactly what had happened, and you know what I mean? And I have a shaman priest that I've been dealing with, you know, spiritually, and with this, you know, creature, and you know, she was telling me that I mean, other people was telling me that, I'm marked. They don't know why, how, or what, but somehow I'm marked. And what, she was telling me was, they want to have, they want to connect with me. Why? I don't know. But that's what she's telling me. And she's a shaman priest. I've been dealing with her for a few months, and we got close, you know what I mean? And it's just, I've been going through hell with this stuff, man. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how would you say that it's affected you, Swampdogg, and in your relationship? How's it affected Mrs. Swampdogg?
it's bad. I mean, when this happened in my backyard, now I have talked to a friend of mine. He does a podcast, and I asked him, I said, can a portal come in your house? Because I don't know nothing about portals. I said, can a portal come in your house? He said, yes. That on his research, he heard people having a portal open up in their house. I had a friend of mine tell me a while back that I have to be careful because they will follow you to your home. You know what I mean? And
There's they will follow you to your home, but they won't come in. They won't come into your home. They won't come into your home. They won't come into your home, Swampdogg. They'll follow you home, but they're not. There's certain rules they abide by, and they are not allowed in your home unless you invite them.
Yeah, well, I was told I don't know. I was told that they do come in your home and they can open up because they wanted me to bless my house inside my house, and they want me to bless all four corners of my property. And you know what I mean? They gave me prayers and stuff. The people from the Native Americans gave me prayers and stuff, and they told me what to do, and like me, even the shaman priest was telling me how I can react. Now, as far as me and my wife, we've been going through hell. My wife, she gets bad dreams still. She'll wake up in the middle of the night, screaming because of what had happened to her, and you know what I mean. And it's just been the past year and a half. It's been nothing but hell with this, Dogman creature, and I just come to a point where I had enough. My wife had enough, and it's just been bad. Everybody always says, "Oh, I want to see one of these creatures." You don't ever want to see one of these creatures. You don't ever want to have an encounter with one. You don't. I'm telling you. They're just nothing but pure evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My wife used to go in the woods with me. My wife can't go in the woods anymore. Even if we go for
and I loved it.
Not even for like a mile hike, my wife does not go in the woods with me. At my house, it's like I said, we got dachshunds and we smoke outside too, so we don't smoke in the house. Yeah. And my wife wants to smoke a cigarette at 2:00 in the morning, and I'm asleep. She does not go out of the house. My wife wakes me up so I can go outside with her because she won't go outside by herself. And this is on our property. So, I feel like she's like a prisoner in her own home.
Yeah, I get it. It's not good.
People don't understand that,
Yeah, I get it.
She's the sun. My wife, she doesn't go outside at nighttime. And even like during the day, she wants me to go outside with her. If she wants to have a cup of coffee or have a cigarette outside, or if she has to take the dogs out, she preferred for me to be outside with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the after effects of what happens. You know what I'm saying? People don't see that, They hear your story about your encounter, but they don't know what it does to you mentally and your mind after everything happens. You
Well,
know?
it's just because it's just something which is when you're faced with something which is 7, 8 foot, 9 foot tall, which you can't relate. You're seeing it with your eyes, you're comprehending it in your mind, but you can't relate it to anything, and it's just it's more than reality. Do you know what I mean? It's more than what reality should have, and it sometimes it leaves an indelible mark on your memory, and you can't get rid of it. You can't shake it loose. It stays with you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I heard of people, because a lot of people, they message me and they call me or they email me, and because they'll have a problem on their property, or they're going through something, and they'll talk to me about it, and what I mean, I talked to people that had encounters back in the '60s, and it still bothers them then to today, and it's 2026. You know what I mean? So it's
Your backyard, where you live, where you saw this portal.
mhm.
Is it the type of backyard that backs on to other backyards? Do
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Okay. Right.
yeah.
Do you know if any of the neighbors have any kind of like blink cameras or anything else on their backyard that maybe picks
No,
this up?
no, because the property that connects to my backyard, um, actually they just moved there like 2, 3 months ago,
Yeah.
and they're doing construction. You know what I mean? Like on this backyard, because the house is one of them. What do you call them houses? You know what I mean? When you fixer uppers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
what I mean? The guy stays there a couple nights a week. You know what I'm saying? But there's no cameras or nothing. I should have cameras on my property, but I don't. You know what I mean? So, and I haven't because I'm moving to Tennessee, and I mean I'm having a house built up in the mountains, and I'm not doing nothing on my property.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it would do any good, Swamp, to be honest, if it did have cameras. I
I
mean,
don't think it will do any good. I
what do
don't
you
think it
make
will
of
do any good.
I mean, what do you make of like kind of, when people take photos and they're kind of, I think a lot of it is AI when they take
Yeah,
these
yeah.
photos, you know.
Well, you can tell if you had an encounter and you came face to face with a creature, and you look at AI, you can tell the difference. I don't know. That's me.
Yeah. 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 I agree. It's like when, like when brother Ethan takes these shots,
Yeah.
I tend to believe them because they're a lot more generic. They're not generic, organic. They're
Right.
more natural. You can see the outline because
Yeah.
that's the way they present themselves on camera. They're kind of more of a, like Keith would say, more like a shimmer. They're more like a camera catches them as a shimmer. We catch them with our eyes and see them, but the camera can't quite do that for some reason.
Yeah.
Now that incident with the portal, that was after the horrific episode with the Dogman and Mrs. Swamp. Yeah.
After. Yep. This is a
Okay.
couple days before Christmas.
What happened with
This is
that
after.
episode?
On the last week of August of 2024 was the first time that I ever had an encounter with a Dogman creature. Okay. I never believed in Dogman. Okay.
Mhm.
I believed in Sasquatch, the Watchers, because, like I said, I've been dealing with them since '89, and I had few encounters in my area. But I never did believe in a Dogman. When I used to hear a podcast or a show or something and people talk about Dogman, I used to snicker. I would admit it. I used to laugh. I was like, there's no way. There's no such thing. If they're seeing anything, it's a Bigfoot. You know what I mean? And that's how I was. You know what I mean? For a couple of years. I never believed in Dogman. So I like to do my fishing out in the Delaware Bay. I fish for stripers. I don't know if you got that in the UK, but big stripers, 50, 60-inch fish. I mean, they're like a real game fish. Everybody loves to fish for them in Jersey and all the way up to Massachusetts and Maine.
Okay.
It's a popular fish. And I also fish at night, for sharks. Okay. We caught hammerheads, we caught makos off the beach. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So one night I went to go down to a place called over down at Fortescue, New Jersey. It's It's Delaware Bay. It's by the ocean. That's where I fish at night. So what happened was I always watched the tide. I always fish like 2 hours before the tide comes in, and then 2 hours after the tide goes out. So there's a window there. That's when I fish, whether it's during the day or during the night. So the tide was going to come in around 1 o'clock in the morning. So I went out. My wife didn't want to get out of bed, so I went out by myself. Got my bait ready, my poles, all my equipment. I'm going. Now, in this area where I fish at, everybody knows me. And they know me because I catch big fish. You know what I'm saying? So everybody knows me like in the fishing stores, the beaches, you know what I mean? The restaurant that's on the bay, everybody knows me. Because at the time I had that camo truck. And whenever they saw the camouflage truck, they knew Swampdogg was there. You know what I mean? That's Swampdogg. Even the cops, they all knew me. You know what I mean? So I went there, and on the way there, I'm taking the back road. This is all back road, all woods, swamp, marsh. I'm going through. Now, when I go through there, I like to drive 25, 30 mile an hour because of all the deer and all the wildlife that runs out in front of you. Because I had a deer, run out in front of me and did a lot of damage to my truck about a year before this. So I'm coming around the curve, and at that curve, there's a cemetery. As I'm coming around the curve, I seen this. At first, I thought it was a grizzly bear. Okay. New Jersey don't have grizzly bears. That's all out west. We only have black bears. That's all we have in South Jersey. That's all we have is black bear. So, but this thing was huge, and I'm thinking, does somebody have a grizzly bear for a pet that got away or something? You know what I mean? I didn't know. You know what I mean? Because I stopped on the middle of the road. Okay, now this is midnight. You know what I mean? And my off-road, I turned my off-road lights on, and this thing, I had it lit up like a baseball field. I'm watching this thing climb over the metal fence out of the cemetery, and it walks in front of my truck, and I'm still thinking bear, okay? As it crosses the road, it goes in the next property, and I'm following it. I'm trying to keep my lights on it because I'm thinking, man, this is too big to be a black bear. I mean, what is this thing? I mean, it looked like a grizzly bear. And when it got in the middle of the property, that's when it stood up. And when it stood up, it was like it was like the world smacked me in the face because, like I said earlier, I never believed in a dogman creature. Never did. And when I saw it stand up, I knew what it was, and my body shut down. I couldn't move. I couldn't even move a finger. So when it stood up, it looked at me, and I'm looking at it. And I'm only 20 yards away from this thing. I'm in my truck. I got the lights on it, and it's only 20 yards in front of me. It looks at me, kind of tilts its head. I couldn't move my body. My window was down. I couldn't move my hand to push the button to raise my window. I couldn't even do that. I don't know if it shot me with something, or I don't know if my adrenaline was going. I don't know what happened to me at that moment. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't move an inch of my body. Not my foot, my leg, my arm, nothing. So it looked at me, and we're looking at each other, and I'm like, what the F am I looking at? I knew what it was, but you know what I mean? In my mind, I'm like, what the F, you know? It took one step towards me. And when it took that one step, I get emotional when I talk about this one part, because when it took one step towards me, I said to myself, I'm dead. I'm done.
Do you want to take a break? Do you want to have a break?
No. Okay. I'm good. I'm good. Sometimes when I talk about this, I get emotional.
Yeah.
But okay. I just take a second. But I said to myself, I'm a dead man. They're going to find my truck, and then they're not going to find me. This thing, I'm dead. I'm done. You know what I mean? I'm dead. I'm done. It was, I'm being, punished for saying that this creature don't exist and laughing at people, and you know what I mean? I'm being punished. I'm done. When it took that one step towards me, I'm thinking this, it's looking at me, and I heard another one into the woods to my left, and it made like a howl. When it howled, it stopped, looked towards the howl, looks at me again, and then it takes off towards the howl. And I tell everybody, if that other creature didn't howl, now I didn't see the other creature, I just heard it howl. If that creature didn't howl, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. If that creature was by itself, I wouldn't be here. I know in my heart, I wouldn't be here right now. I would be one of their 411. I would have been one of their 411. Yeah. And that shook my world. Bad. When it took off, and then I was able to move, and I took off, instead of turning around and going home, I took off and went towards the bay.
Yeah.
And I parked my truck. My truck was still running. Nobody was around. Usually there's some guys doing fishing at night. Nobody was around. Nobody. And I just sat in my truck, and I'm smoking. You mean like a freight train? And I knew what it was, but I couldn't believe what I seen. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah. That's just, my world did a 360. You know what I mean? And that was the first encounter that I had with this creature. And I sat there for about 20 minutes, and I'm smoking one after another, and I'm talking to myself. You know what I mean? If somebody saw me, they'd probably say, yo, this guy's having a nervous breakdown, which I was.
Yeah.
And I was by myself,
Okay, take some time out just for a minute. I just want to ask Mrs. Swampdog. If you weren't there at the time, Mrs. Swampdog, then can you let us know what was your husband like after that episode? When he got home or when you saw him? How was he?
He was kind of distant. He stayed to himself. He wasn't himself. He's
Can you hear her good or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
he he wasn't himself. He just kept everything in. And I asked him what's going on, what's wrong, and he was like, he didn't speak much. He just was like into himself. And it's not like him. He's very open. He loves to talk, and he wasn't himself until
he wouldn't open up to you.
He wouldn't open up at all, no. And I never seen him like that. He was beside himself. It was terrible.
Were you worried about him? You must have been worried about him.
I'm always worried about him because he's always going in the woods. He's always going hunting for this thing. He has a revenge for it, and he wants this thing. And I'm petrified.
Yeah.
And I'm really petrified for him. So,
okay.
And for me, I'm in the house. The shades are shut early. When he has to go for a road call, sometimes I sit in the middle of the room. I don't sleep. I sit in the middle. I sit on the couch. I sit in the middle. I have the TV turned down very, very low. My dogs are beside me. If I hear something, I jump. I am always on the phone calling him, and he's trying to work. And I don't know if I'll ever get over this. I don't know if I'll ever get over it.
Do you think since his experience, it's put a pressure on both of you at home?
Yeah, there's a pressure on our marriage because I'm always scared. I want to go with him all the time. I don't want to be alone. I'm always calling him when he has to work, when he goes out. I know his job can be dangerous sometimes. And I just fear, I'm just scared he's going to get hurt, or something's going to happen to me. I won't let my dogs out. I won't do anything because I'm afraid my dogs are going to get hurt because they came to the house. I don't know what to do. I really don't. I don't know what to do.
A lot of times these Mrs. Swampdog, a lot of times with these entities that we come across, they on purpose, think of it like a game. They on purpose do instill fear. They like to instill fear. It's not that they will act upon it, but they will. They get something from the fear that they generate.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, they won. They won with me, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't. I really don't.
Okay. Well, as I say, they do, believe me, they have rules. They have rules, and it's just like, honestly, just live your life, live it. Don't worry about them. Live it. I know it's a easy thing to say, but try and live your life. It's they have rules, and they can't cross those rules. But that's fine.
So
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mrs. Swamp. I really do.
So then after this encounter, I got a hold of a friend of mine. He does a podcast for Mysteries Unknown. His name is Josh. And I had told him about that night because for a week I was off the hook. I couldn't think straight. I was in a bad way in life. after that happened. All right. And so he put me on a show with him, you know what I mean, to talk about this encounter. So there's a gentleman, but you know him, Daryl Denton. Somebody had seen my podcast with Josh on Mysteries Unknown. He called Daryl Denton and said, "Yo, you got to get a hold of this guy because, we have something here. I mean, you need to talk to this guy." And I guess he was telling him a little bit about my show with, Josh with Mysteries Unknown. So Daryl Denton got a hold of Josh and asked him if he could have my number because he wants to talk to me. And Josh gave it to him, and he calls me up and he says, "I want to talk to you about what happened." And I said, "Bro, I did the podcast, but I really don't want to talk about nothing, and you know what I mean, I don't want to do nothing about it." So he says, if I would show him where this happened, and I'm like, "Bro, I'm not going back there. I don't want no parts of it." So we're talking. After a while, I agreed to meet him there. He wanted to go at night. I'm like, "No, I'm not going there at night. I'm not doing nothing at night. You want to meet me there? It'll be during the day." So we set up for the next weekend. We met up, and Jimmy, this is the first time I met, Daryl Denton. I told him exactly what happened. I showed him where it went over the iron fence across the road in front of my truck into the property. Told him everything exactly how it happened. So, we're looking around, and he told me he went there a day before he met up with me because he wanted to look at the area. And what he told me was he saw signs that there's a creature in the area. Now, this is Daryl Denton telling me this. And I said, "Yeah." I was like, "No shit. I seen it. I know there's a creature in the area." You know what I mean? But from what he said, he's seen the claw marks up in trees, 8-9 feet up in the trees, all over the area. So I was like, "Well, I don't want no parts of it." I showed you where he came out. I showed you where he crossed the road, where he stood up. I told you what happened. If you want to look for this thing, have at it. I don't want no parts of it. So I showed him around Forest Q and all that stuff. I showed him, because it's real woodsy. It's like the Pine Barrens, kind of. You know what I mean? So we talked about this, and I guess basically he told me he saw the fear in me, and the way that I was talking, he knew that I was still messed up in the head with this, and he was trying to talk to me, calm me down. You know what I mean? Like, and Jimmy, that's how our friendship started. So he was going to go to Tennessee to visit family or something. I don't know what he's going to do. And he told me when he comes back from Tennessee, he's going to call me because he wants to go back with me, and he wants to look around and maybe do some research, and you know what I mean, and try to help me with this. And I did feel like he felt bad for me. You know what I mean? That's what I got out of it. I said, "All right, whatever," but I'm not doing nothing at nighttime. I'm not going at night. So what happened? He's in Tennessee, out there for about a week, right? He texted me or called me and said, "Look, I'm on my way back from Tennessee. I'm leaving Tennessee. I'll be home soon, and then we can meet up and go out there." I said, "All right." Well, this one here got a bright idea that she wants to go out there, and she wants to see if she can try to take a picture of this creature. See, 'cause before all this happened, after the first encounter, I went back the next day by myself in my truck. It was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was driving by real slow because I had to get like a mental thing straight in my head. You know what I mean? And I saw it again. It was like 3 days later. I saw it again. And it was on the side of the road, standing there, looking at me as I went by. And as I went by, I was only doing 20 miles an hour. It was on my passenger side as I'm, going. I turned around, my heart's pumping. I made a U-turn. I came back. Now I'm flying. I go by this thing doing about 50 miles an hour, and it's staring at me as I'm going by. I'm staring at it as it's staring at me as I'm going by. I called Josh. I called Daryl. I called a few other people. I said, yo, I see this thing again. They're telling me, well, you crazy? Get the hell out of there. Blah. I'm driving. I'm on the phone trying to talk to Daryl and Josh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I went home, and so then, like I said, Daryl went to Tennessee. On the way back, we were supposed to meet up, blah, blah, blah. Well, my wife had the bright idea. She wanted to take a camera with her because she wants to see if she could take a picture of this thing. And I'm like, I'm not going back there.
Okay.
And she kept going on.
That is
Finally,
ballsy. That is ballsy.
Yeah.
Really?
So finally I said, all right, let's go. Right, because she pissed me off, and I didn't want to go there. I want no parts of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially going there by myself. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do it. So yeah, she grabs the camera. We go down there. It's like a 30-minute drive from my house to this area. So we stopped at this store called the Wawa. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you see Wawas in Georgia. I don't know.
No.
Like a convenience store. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, this is the coffee cup, Wawa. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, right. That must be
Okay.
quite new. I was there a few years ago. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So we stopped, got coffee, got our snacks and stuff, and all that stuff. So we headed over there. I went down this dirt road that's behind the cemetery, and I parked. My truck, I must have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on my truck with lift kits, tires, wheels, high performance engines, stronger axles, gears, all that. But I never fixed the air condition. So I parked alongside of Woodland. I shut the truck off. I got both my windows down. Well, she felt kind of uncomfortable because her side of the truck was up against the wood line.
Uh-huh.
So she wanted to switch seats. I said, all right. So I jumped in the passenger seat and she jumped in the driver's seat. I'm on the phone, like on Facebook and all that stuff. And she's sitting in the driver's seat, with the camera and all that stuff. And we're looking around. We were there a couple hours, right?
Uh-huh.
We didn't see nothing. But me being a woodsman and a hunter, I should have known when the woods are quiet, something's up.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking. I'm looking around, but I'm on Facebook. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But I wasn't paying attention. This was the biggest mistake in my life. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't hear nothing. Usually you'll see deer, you'll hear a coyote or a fox, you'll hear the bugs, you know what I mean? I didn't hear nothing. Nothing. And I didn't realize it. At the time, I didn't realize that. I had my mind on this thing, but So after about 2-3 hours, she had to go to the bathroom. And, she said she had to go pee. I said, well, listen, we're 30 minutes away from the nearest Wawa. And if we go to Wawa, we might as well go home because I'm not driving back. Right? Because it's a 30-minute drive. I'm not, I'm not coming back. So I said, go in the back of the truck and go pee. You know what I mean? I said, I know you from the city, but act like you're a country girl tonight and go back and pee,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she went back there. I'm in the passenger seat. You know what I mean? I'm not even looking at her in the mirror or nothing. I'm just on my phone, going through Facebook. You know what I mean? Doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Still not paying attention to my surroundings because, like I said, I don't hear nothing and I'm not paying attention. I'm like, that was my big mistake. So when she's going down there peeing, about a second or two, she starts screaming. And when she started screaming, I jumped out of the truck. I had a 44 on my lap, right? I carry a 44 with 240 grain bullets in it. I had it on my lap because if something came out, I want that gun on my lap. You know what I mean?
Well, that's not a bad iron. That will stop a lot of things.
So when I jumped out the truck, I turned around. I see this creature got my wife by the arm and is dragging her down this dirt road. I start shooting at it. I shot it 4 times. Don't get upset. The first 2 shots, I shot him in the back, like in the lower back, and it didn't even flinch. Mind you, this is a 44 with 240 grain bullets. The third shot I shot it kind of flinched a little bit. And then the 4th shot, I shot it just below the neck, you know what I mean, like in the back. That's when I let my wife go. It screamed. And it took off into the woods. And when it took off in the woods, it sounded like a freight train going through the woods. I don't know. It was knocking trees down. I don't know. It was like, knocking like your branches down. I don't know what I was doing. All I know was going through the woods like a freight train and screaming like, the worst evil screams you can just imagine. I grabbed my wife, I put her in the truck, and I took off. In my mind, I'm thinking, I just shot this thing 4 times with a 44, 240 grain bullets, and I didn't see a drop of blood.
Really?
No blood on the ground. I know I hit it. I was only 5 yards away from it. I hit it 4 times, no blood. I'm a bow hunter. I shot bear in Pennsylvania at the 20 yards. I shot deer at 30, 40 yards. And I know when I shoot something with a gun or a bow, you'll see blood. You know what I mean? Never see not a drop of blood. And all this is going through my mind, and I thought she had a broken arm.
Okay.
Well, I ended up taking her to the hospital because she was black and blue, like from here all the way to her elbow, and she couldn't move her arm. And on the way to the hospital, I'm telling her, I said, you didn't hear this thing coming? She said she didn't hear it, and she didn't see it. All she knew was when they grabbed her and lifted her up and started dragging her down this dirt road, and then she said all she heard was me shooting it. And she's hysterical. She's out there, you know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
So I had to worry about her. I got a million things going through my head. I knew that was a bad idea. I knew we shouldn't have been there. Now I got to take her to the hospital because I'm thinking she had a broken arm. So when we went in the hospital, she's telling the people at the front desk that she thinks she's got a broken arm. They look at her arm and it's black and blue. My wife's arm was black and blue. So we waited there, and you mean they're taking X-rays? I mean, you were waiting for the X-rays. They're asking us what happened. How are you going to tell the doctor or the nurse your wife just got attacked by a creature? You can't. They're going to think you're nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. So now they're looking at me like I'm a wife beater. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, that's that's what I was going to say. It's a
even
big
pull her-
thing. Yeah.
They even pull her aside and say, "Yo, did your husband do this?" And she says, "No." And she didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
What you want to say?
Yeah.
What can you say? I mean, they're going to think we're nuts or we're on drugs or drinking or something. You know what I mean?
Did they at the hospital? Did they pull you? Did they take Mrs. Swamp to one side and ask her away from
Yeah.
you know what happened? Yeah.
Yeah, they asked her. She said, "Yo, did your husband do this to you?" Because I'm telling you, her arm was black and blue from her shoulder to her elbow, and it still hurts her to today. It still hurts her to today. Now she was black and blue for 3 weeks, almost a month, right?
A little longer.
Almost a month. She was black and blue.
Are you okay, Mrs. Swamp?
Yeah, I'm okay. I just get emotional.
Yeah, she don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes she gets emotional when I talk about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, so that's why I say, I mean, so you mean they're thinking I did this, and I'm thinking, they're gonna call the cops on me. I'm gonna get locked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I called Daryl and I said, "Yo, I shot this thing." And he says, "What?" I said, "I shot this thing." I said, "They attacked Tammy and I shot it." And so then when I told him that, then he was worried about my wife. He's like, "Well, how she's doing, all this stuff." I said, "Bro, she's not right. I mean, she's hysterical. She's crying. I mean, it's bad over here. When you're going to be home?" He says, "I'm halfway home. When I get home, I'll call you." Because I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know who to turn to. I called Josh and let him know what happened. I called Daniel Hamilton from the Cryptid podcast, told him what happened, and everybody's more worried about Tammy than what had happened, with the encounter. And it's just, yeah.
Swamp, can I ask you something? Do you mind once again, just Mrs. Swamp? Can I ask you, when you went round the back and you were having a pee? Did this Dogman entity, did it grab you while you were squatting down, grab your arm and pull you, or?
Yes, they grabbed me and lifted me up and started taking me down the road, the dirt road, and started taking me and grabbed me, just lifted me straight up and started walking. And I started screaming. Next thing you know, I heard shots. My husband was shooting, and it finally let me go. And I don't know. I didn't hear it. I didn't smell anything.
I didn't hear nothing either. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. I'm only 3 feet away from her. You know what I mean? From my seat to where she was squatting. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see nothing. Nothing. It's just this thing came out of nowhere.
I had encounters with Bigfoot
when I grabbed her. You know what I mean? Just came out of nowhere.
And I had no problems. And we used to gift them, and they gifted us.
Yeah.
And I had no problems going in the woods. And when I was younger, I used to go in and hunt with my father and my family. And I used to go hunting with my husband.
Mm.
And I never had any fear of the woods. But I won't go in there no more. And we're, like I said, he told you we're moving to Tennessee. I'm really thinking about that. And we bought property there already. And we're deep in the woods. And I don't know if I can do it or not. And this is putting a toll on our marriage. I mean, nothing to separate us, but we argue. he said we're moving
Yeah.
there. You know, I don't know if I can. I really don't. I don't know if I can, and it's putting a real toll on it. And
Yeah,
there's
I
times
get
I
it. I
can't
get it.
sleep. I sleep during
We
the
don't
day.
sleep at night.
I don't sleep at night.
If you call me at 2 or 3 in the morning, I'll pick up the phone because I don't sleep at night.
I sleep during the day.
I'll sleep like 5 in the morning to about 8ish.
I'll take
Ethan
naps.
Oates can tell you. Ethan Oates can tell you. I'll sleep from 5 to about 8, and I'll get up. But like at nighttime,
We don't sleep.
we don't sleep. I mean, she'll take a little nap here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but like other than that, we don't sleep.
I get it. I get it.
You know, Ethan Oates can tell you. Sometimes he'll call me 3 in the morning. Hey, Swamp, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm over here, doing
Yeah.
this, doing that, whatever.
It just took a big toll on everything. And
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I say. These people.
our future in Tennessee, I don't know if
I got 5 acres in Tennessee. Now, to get to my property, when you drive up the blacktop, it's actually like a 2-mile drive on dirt road to get to my property.
Okay, so it's well out there then. It's
I'm
well
way out
there.
there in the woods. I got 5 acres.
Yeah.
I got bear. I got coyotes. I got route. I got all kinds of turkeys, deer, everything going through my property. And that's what I wanted to live. I'm a woodsman. I like the woods. I want to build my cabin. I want to live the rest of my life in the woods,
Oh no, that would be lovely. That would, I mean, for both of you, both of you sort of to build and to adapt a home to what you want it to be. That's a dream. That's a dream for most people.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a dream I've been looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, we want horses, we want goats, we want little cows. You know what I mean?
Like my husband said, he has a mobile. He's a diesel mechanic, and it's a mobile truck.
Yeah, actually, I'm in it right now.
There's times I'm not going to be able to go with him, and there's times I'm going to be stuck out in the woods in our home, and I don't think I could do it.
Okay, I know it's hard. This it's not easy. When you have something like you've had, an experience like you've had, it's not easy.
I mean, people.
And the first time that I talked about it to anybody besides family and a couple friends was on Ethan's show, his podcast, and I opened up. But I haven't really talked about it. Maybe if I talk about it more, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
So you mean after this happened with my wife, at first I was scared of this thing. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. But when this encounter happened, when it grabbed my wife, something in me switched. I don't fear this thing. Sometimes I wish it would come out more often so I got a better chance of killing it. But I don't know if I can because, like I said, I shot it 4 times with a 44 and it didn't even drop. My gun, I could shoot a grizzly and I could kill a grizzly. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 44 is a good. Yeah, 44 is a
So I mean, this thing got shot 4 times.
An M&M shooter. No.
So I don't know if I can even. But see, I'm so angry right now that whatever fear I had is gone. I got no fear of this thing.
Okay, when you emptied into it, usually when you hit an animal or you hit flesh, okay, it makes a thwomp sound. Yeah. Did you get that same sound? Was the swamp hear that same sound?
Well, she don't know because she was screaming. You know what I mean? Like she was, I'm shooting this thing and I'm hearing it. Boom, boom, boom. No blood.
You heard it take those.
I heard it hit. I'm 5 yards away. I could shoot a target at 40 yards with a handgun. You know what I mean? I've been shooting guns all my life. You know what I mean? I had shot deer with my bow at 60 yards. I mean, you gotta be good to do that. You know, 60 yards hitting the deer. You know what I mean? With a bow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you mean the last black bear I shot in Pennsylvania, I shot him at 12 yards on the ground. I shot it.
Was that with a compound? Do you use a compound bow? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're good.
But you mean I shot him at 12 yards, 500-pound bear in Pennsylvania. I know when an arrow hits or when a bullet hits, I know the sound. I know what to expect with the blood coming out. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
You know? It all depends. You shoot him in the heart, shoot him in the lungs, shoot him in the kidney. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, I know this thing, not a drop of blood. And I was on a podcast talking with a friend of mine, and she asked me a question that nobody ever asked. She said to me, when you shot it and you didn't see no blood, if there was any blood on Tammy. It made me think. I said, you know what? I never even thought about that. Well, my wife didn't even have a drop of blood on her.
Blood on me.
After I shot her 4 times. Like she didn't have no blood splatter on her or anything. Now, you mean I never thought about that, and nobody else ever asked me about that. You know what I mean? Like on top of 10, But I mean, this has been nothing but hell for us. I don't wish this on nobody. And when I hear people say, "Oh, I want to go out there and look for this thing," I said, "Bro, you don't even know what you're talking about." Because if this thing gets attached to you, like it's been attached to me, more me than her. But I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's awful. I mean, for your wife, I feel. My heart goes out to her. It really does. My heart goes out to her.
I mean, still today, she gets up crying. Like right now, she's talking about it, and she got
so emotional. I don't know.
And she cries. You know what I mean? And you mean I understand because I get emotional sometimes too.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it seems to me the more that I talk about it, the better I feel about it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's like hard to explain, but like right now, I feel nothing but anger. Ethan knows. Everybody can tell you. I want to kill this thing because what it did to my wife. You know what I mean? If you have somebody like walk up to your wife and punch her in the face, that's how I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, so now, I've been going in the woods. I get out of my truck 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm packing. I walk in the woods. As I'm walking in the woods, I said, "Boys, I'm here," because I want them to come out. It's a war now. I don't want to sound like I'm a tough guy or anything like that because I'm not. You know what I mean? But I just want to kill this thing. But a lot of people used to say, "Do you think it's flesh and blood?" And I used to say, "I don't know." Now, after this encounter in my backyard, I can actually say my opinion. This is not flesh and blood. This is something evil. This is something that came from hell. And I don't know if you can kill this thing. Really, you know what I mean? I'm just being honest. That's my feelings because I come across this thing, I mean, I don't know.
Can you one thing we've overlooked, and it's my fault really. Can you describe it for us? What it looked like?
Yeah, I was going to tell you. When I first seen this thing, when it stood up, it was about 8 feet tall. It looked like, you can actually, the shoulders were wide, about 4 foot, but the neck, like, okay, this is my neck. Let's try something like that. It had everybody, like you were talking about, about the wolf's head or the dog head. What I seen was it had the head of a hyena. That's what I seen. It was about 8 foot tall. If I always say about 100 pounds a foot, I'm thinking this thing was like 700-800 pounds. My opinion. It had the head of a hyena, and like I was telling you earlier, lot of people always talk about the legs. They had got the dog leg. I mean, it looks like a dog's leg. This didn't have a dog's leg. This had legs like a human being. I couldn't see the feet because where it was just standing, the grass was high. It looked like they never cut the grass, and the grass was like about a foot, but foot and a half tall.
Mm.
But the legs, they had human legs, and it had human arms and hands. I seen the hands, but the hands had claws on it. Not long claws, but you could tell they were long enough that you could see claws. And it had hands like you and me. The mane had like a lion's mane, but like it didn't go all the way around. Just from shoulder to shoulder. Eyes were amber. Everybody always asks, you know what I mean? What color eyes was it? The eyes were amber yellow, amber. And it was about 8 foot tall, you know what I mean? All 3 times I seen this thing, all 3 times I seen it, I knew all 3 times it was the same creature. I knew it was the same creature. When it came to my house and it went through the portal, it was the same creature. That's why I say it's not flesh and blood. That's my opinion. Other people got other opinions, but my opinion, when I saw it going through the portal and that mind spoke to me, this thing's not flesh and blood. This is something evil that came from the deeps of hell. You know what I mean? The depth of hell. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my opinion. You know.
Did you see its teeth? Did it show it?
I had teeth. I had teeth. They had canines, but it was weird because I always say this thing had pure white teeth. Like, you know what I'm saying? You would think like some dogs or something, you'll see yellow or something on their teeth. Like, you know what I mean? You guys said you got horses too, right? So like, like sometimes you gotta clean the horse's teeth. This thing, it was pure white teeth. And it had canines. But it had the head of a hyena. And I heard of this before. Other people said that they seen it and it had a head of a hyena, but that's the only way I could describe it. When I went home after that first encounter, I looked up on Google hyena, right? Because my mind's going in a million directions. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know if you ever felt that way, but when you see something like this, your mind goes through a million directions. I like you're out there. I mean, you know what I mean? So you mean I Googled hyena and it had the head of a hyena. You know what I mean? That's, you know what I mean? And every encounter that I had with this creature, it was the head of a hyena. And it's always the same creature.
Okay.
So
because dog, I think what you saw wasn't a Dogman. Because digit grade locomotion, which dogs have, that bend in their leg when they kind of like run, it helps them spring. It's designed so that they get maximum power from the legs.
But I'm gonna tell you something. This thing ran from that middle of that yard into the wood line. After, I mean, that thing moved. I never seen anything that fast in my life. Man. That thing, that thing took off in a split second. It was gone.
But it had its legs had knees. It had plantigrade, what they call plantigrade, like us. We have plantigrade legs. It's the structure of our legs is. So it's like that. It was like our legs, our type legs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because I heard people talk about this kind, and then I heard people talk like they call me and they tell me about the other kind, like what you seen. You know what I mean? Like with the dog legs. But you know what I mean? What I seen didn't have dog legs.
No.
And every time A lot of people always ask me too. Well, did you see a tail? I'm like, no, I didn't see no tail. All 3 encounters, I never seen a tail. Other
No,
people say they
no.
have. I never seen nothing with a tail.
Mm.
So I don't know. You know what I mean? I believe it's a dog man. Other people believe it is. You know,
Yeah, no, I get it.
it's just you don't know. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's a flesh and blood creature. I don't think so.
No, it's not, and you're not gonna kill it. That's for sure. It's just it's one of these things where you're completely right, Swamp. It's not a flesh and blood creature.
Yeah.
It I believe it appears it appears in our scope. All right, momentarily does what it wants. It appears and it just shifts on. Literally shifts on. Okay. We live on a very limited plane of existence from the point of view of what we see and interpret is very limited to us. We're pretty, like we were discussed before the show, we're pretty poorly equipped creatures, really. These things they come into our point of reference not from such a thing as like another reality as such, but what they do is I believe they come in under velocity, on a different velocity to what we're used to. We're on a certain speed, yeah, so we're running along at a certain frame rate. They're coming in at a different frame rate, okay, and we see them momentarily when we kind of like pass, and boom, that's it. We see them, then they're gone again, and it looks to be supernatural. My God, they're moving so quick. Well, actually, no, they're not. They're just on a different frame. They're on a different frame of speed. They're different velocity, and we just see them momentarily. They do tag you. You know, I think these entities, they do tag you, and once you're tagged, then that's it. It kind of like not a case of that's it as in it's detrimental, but they tag you from the point of view of you are always going to be more susceptible to seeing them and seeing other things as well.
Yeah, because it's like I said, I've been dealing with the shaman priest. I've been dealing with Donna Compost, and I've been talking to other natives. I mean, as far as Arizona, you know what I mean? And they're all telling me that I'm chosen for something. And this is why. Now, I never talked about this except one other time. It was on Ethan's Oates show. Was the first time that I ever talked about this. And I had talked about this with the shaman priest and Donna about my dreams. And I was in my early 20s. Now you might understand it because you're in the paranormal. I mean, I don't know. You might, And
Natalie will be the one to understand this.
Yeah. But in my early 20s, I used to have dreams. And my dreams, and this dream happened every time I went to sleep every night. It was always the same dream. Always the same dream until I was about 35 years old. And I never said anything about this until all this started happening to me. And I'm just trying to put the puzzle together. You know what I mean? Because I'm kind of desperate right now. I mean, I can't explain it, but my life is a desperate situation. Well, anyway, these dreams I've been having since I was in my 20s. Every night, I used to get up sweating. A lot of times, I used to get up, you're gasping for air. Well, like my dream was, I'm riding my Harley during the desert, in the desert, like on a desert road. I'm riding my Harley in the middle of the night, I stopped my bike. I shut my bike down, and I'm walking away from my bike into the middle of the desert, and I'm walking. As I'm walking, I got thousands and thousands of rattlesnakes in front of me. As I'm walking, the rattlesnakes are making a pathway, and they're not biting me or nothing. But they're walking. I'm walking, and they're making a pathway, and I'm walking towards this path. I see like a teepee. You know what I mean? Like the old cowboy movies. You see the teepees?
Mm-hmm.
I walk into this teepee, and there's this old Indian man. He was like a medicine man, and it's always the same man. I sit with him, and in my dreams, he says, "I've been waiting for you." So when he says that, he gives me like a peace pipe, and he says, "Smoke this." That my journey has begun. So I smoke it, and in my dreams, I can feel like my soul leaving my body. And when it leaves my body, I can actually see myself sitting next to this Native American that's a medicine man. And then I'm floating in the sky. I can see the teepee, I can see my bike in the distance, I can see the rattlesnakes, and then I wake up. And when I wake up, I'm pouring sweat. It's like you dumped a bucket of water on me. And a lot of times I'm gasping for air. And my wife's seen me wake up like this, you know what I mean? Because this has been happening since my early 20s. And this happened every night. So when I was telling my shaman priest about my dreams, she's telling me that was my ancestor. And it was trying to communicate with me. And it was trying to get me ready for a journey or ready for something. Because this is why she said, and Donna Campos said the same thing, that I was chosen for something. I'm just trying to put the puzzle together. You know what I mean?
But what do you think, Natalie?
The only thing I could, sorry, my voice. The only thing I was thinking is like a vehicle in your dreams is usually like more your physical form. So by leaving your bike, you're leaving your physical form and journeying to one level. And then it sounds like they're trying to get you to journey to another level, but you're struggling to get to that level because it's waking you up and you're covered in sweat. So it's obviously not easy. I'm not 100% sure what the rattlesnakes could possibly mean symbolically. It didn't strike anything to my mind. The only thing that came to my mind was, like you say, you're leaving one physical form into another, which is the teepee, and then you're trying to get to another level. And it's like, so I should imagine if you can sort of figure out that for yourself, you might.
Well, see, the shaman priest. Yeah, see, like you mean the shaman was telling me that the rattlesnake is my spirit animal.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense if it's part of you, yeah.
It's my spirit animal, and it's a sign of a new beginning. And you know how a snake, they shed?
Mm-hmm.
Her and other Native Americans have told me that that's also a sign of I'm shedding my past and I'm starting a new life.
Yeah, you're both absolutely spot on. Because snakes often symbolize significant life changes, personal transformation, or healing. They represent the shedding of old habits and renewal. Okay, they may also represent hidden fears as well, anxieties, or a toxic person in your life. So now it all depends on were the snakes were you being chased by the snakes or going to be bitten?
Nope. As I'm walking in the middle of the desert, the snakes are actually moving out of my way, and I'm walking down this path. It's like they're making a path.
Yeah,
as
it's
I'm walking.
transformation. That like Natalie said, you're quite right, and you as well,
Right.
Swamp. It is it symbolizes a transformation.
Right.
So you're going through a transformation.
Right.
In
It
your
was
life.
weird
That's what's
because
going
I always said that I'm in the desert, but I don't know what state I'm in. I don't know where I'm at. All I know is I'm riding my Harley. I'm going down the desert. You know what I mean? Down this road, down the desert.
on.
So I always thought maybe I was in Arizona, New Mexico, in my dreams. Arizona, New Mexico, or Nevada or something.
It's funny for us because we were just talking about Harley Davidsons and big
Yeah.
bikes yesterday. Natalie was myself,
And
yeah.
and then my shaman priest was telling me I wasn't in either of those places. I was in the Mojave Desert out in California. So she was telling me start researching the indigenous people in around the Mojave, you know what I mean? And she said that medicine man could possibly be one of my ancestors and was just getting me ready for my new journey and what's going, you know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know what my new journey is. I'm trying to put all this together. You know, she said when I was younger, I didn't understand. So I didn't know how to cope with, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I didn't know how to deal with it. But now that I'm getting older and I'm going through all this stuff now, you know, this is 89 until now, that now I'm starting to wake up and you mean I'm starting to realize, you know, hey, you mean there's something up with me, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like spiritually and you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, but
it makes sense really, because if you were going into an altered state in a dream and they were trying to get you to sort of access a wider picture and a bigger view, I mean the encounters you've had have opened up the world a little bit more in, not necessarily in the direction you want, but you know, it has opened up things that you couldn't see before as well. So I mean,
I mean, you know, and it's like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just a puzzle that I've been trying to put together. All the stuff going on with me and my wife. Like I said, I had my first encounter in '89 when I was a teenager, and then like me having these dreams since my early 20s, all the way up to all the way to I was like 35, and then now I'll have these dreams maybe once a week, once a month. You know what I mean? And it's always the same dream. It's always the same bike, same rattlesnakes, the same teepee, the same like Native American that's in there. You know what I mean? It's always the same dream. My wife will tell you sometimes I'll wake up and I'm sweating, man. I mean, my pillows are soaked. I mean, she's got to change the bed sheets and change the pillow sheets. And she's like, you know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just everybody said that I'm chosen for something. You know what I mean? There's something that I'm chosen for that, but you know, there's something that's ahead of my life. You know what I mean? They can't tell me what it is. I gotta figure it out, you know, but I don't know. It's just a crazy, I'm going through a crazy thing in life, you know what I mean? And I know people will listen to this and say, oh, you know, this guy's full of shit, but this is actually happening to me, you know? I mean, you know.
No, that's
and
terrifying.
I can understand if people think that way, because if I heard somebody talk like this, I'd be like, yo, this guy's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? But
do you know what? I think we've got I honestly give the people, you know, that support this channel and watch this channel, I give them so much credit because they you know, they each have a story, fascinating story, but they they're also you know, they're not opinionated. You know, they understand, and it shines out when you talk and when your wife talks. You know, I'm sorry to say, the trauma that you suffered, and you know, the people watching know this. They're not stupid. They're pretty you know, on the ball people, and they can sense this. They know this. You know, so don't ever think
My
that
wife,
you know.
I feel bad for my wife because my wife wants me to stop all this. She figures if I stop all this, I stop the research, and I stop the podcast, and I stop my channel, she thinks that this will go away. And you know, she's here. I'm talking. You know, I mean, she's right here.
But
And it's not going to go away.
what do you think, Swamp? If you stopped all this, do you think it would go away?
No,
it wouldn't. But
I'm not going to mention her names because I don't know if she's going to want me to say, but she's sending me, like, you know, she's native and she's in the spiritual world with a native. She's sending me some smudge and she's sending me a bone knife and she wants me to do a ritual called the cutting. And she lives in another state, so she can't be with me while I do this, but she wants to be on the phone on video call, and she's going to tell me how to do it step by step and do this thing called the cutting. I don't know if you know about that, Natalie. I don't know. But you mean it's
like a cord cutting type thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to take the bad spirits and anything bad that's around me or in me away from me.
Yeah,
and
like
it's supposed to be like a cleansing.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Okay. So she wants me to do this cutting, and I talked to my shaman priest about it actually today, and she said, "Yeah, try it, but do what your heart tells you to do." You know what I mean? It might work, it might not work, but you know, just just try it. You know what I mean? You know, she wants me to start experimenting with these, like, you know, rituals. You know what I mean? On the natives, and you know, because you know, they're trying to help. I mean, you know, but that's what they want me to do. They want me to do this cutting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they when you start dealing with this kind of stuff. I mean, I didn't have cryptid encounters, but I had entities.
Yeah.
You think you're crazy? I got into most of this because I had a partially possessed horse.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I
believe that.
around him. Yeah, and like you say, the most important thing that you really need to learn is like psychic hygiene. Like you say, to keep everything cleansed, to keep your boundaries warded, and to keep the energy about you as high as you can, as you know, as strong as you can. And it doesn't do any harm anyway.
Right.
But you are dealing with those types of things, and you have got some degree of sort of like psychic interaction, like your dream seems to suggest. It's not a bad thing to get well versed in that type of, you know, psychic protection, if nothing else, because it's like with your wife, it sort of possibly might help her feel safer,
right?
You know, if she sort of like feels that energy around her, so it might actually be a beneficial thing. So I can't see that it would cause any trouble.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research with indigenous people. I've been like, you mean, hours and hours and hours doing research about their ways, about the way they, like, you know, their religion and their beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Cree and the Cree and Blackfoot as well. They believe in the unknown. The one that they won't mention. They call the entity the one they won't mention. It lives in the edges of the woods, or you know. And they also got the sun dance as well, haven't they? They've got the sun ritual. Sorry, which is quite traumatic in itself. Can I ask? It's a bit personal, but can I ask? Are you religious? Any you and your wife or not?
I was born and raised in a strict Catholic family. Okay.
Mm.
If my mother had her way, I would be a priest right now. That's how strict Catholic family I was. Luckily, I didn't have to be an altar boy. I did everything in the Catholic Church. You know what I mean? From the communion to CCC, I mean, everything.
Yeah.
My belief, and it's kind of weird because it's more towards the native way. And I always felt this way. I talked to her. I've been with my wife 27 years, and I always talked about this. My belief is a lot of people go to a building or they go to a book to look for the creator, God. Me, I go out in nature to be with the creator. That's my mind thinking. My thing is, I don't want to go to a building and I don't want to look into a Bible to look for God. I want to be out in nature and I want to be with God. You know what I mean? The creator. And when I pray, and I just recently been doing this, since I've been doing this research. When I pray to the creator. I pray to Mother Earth. I pray to the sun. I pray to the moon. I pray to the stars. I pray to the creatures that walk the earth. I even pray to the raindrop because everything has a soul. Everything has a soul. So that's what I pray to.
Yeah. Everything has a soul, and all of those things that you mentioned are created by one single creator.
Right.
So, but what I was getting at is the power of the name Jesus Christ. I'm telling you this straight up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Puts fear of very God into them. Believe me, honestly, it really does.
Yeah,
entities that you
I believe that. I believe that. Yeah, you know, I mean, the Creator, God, Jesus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but next time you get anything like that, just tell it to go away nicely. In the name of Jesus Christ, and I swear it'll run. It'll run.
Yeah.
Remember that when it appeared, and remember that when it appears to a lot of people, the one thing which is universal in every witness is the need this thing has to create fear within you. It has this ability to instill fear. That's the one emotion that is overriding of any emotion. You should really have the fight or flight kick in, but you don't.
I don't have the flight. I used to have the flight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have that no more. It's like I was telling you a while ago. When I go into the woods and I'm by myself, I'm like, always I'm here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, let's dance. You know what I mean? But
yeah. But try it. Just try it. It can't do any harm. Next time, God forbid it happens. I hope, in God's name, it doesn't for you. And I hope, especially for your wife, that she doesn't need any more trauma. So I just hope that anything happens, just Jesus Christ, man, and you will see a difference. You will see a difference. Right. Are you okay? Take any questions? I'll check with the admin see if there's any questions.
I'm here. Yeah? Any questions people want to ask? I'm here. I mean, if I can help somebody, I can. You know what I mean? That's what I'm here
for sure. No, you're a good man. You're both very good people. I can see this. Right. I was going to get because we spare no cost when it comes to production values. Swamp. Yeah. I've even got a snazzy. I'll come up in a minute. Where is it? Oh, it's gone. I did have a Q&A come up. Hang on a minute. No, it doesn't. Where's that gone? Oh, here you go. There you go, right by Natalie's head.
Yeah.
So if anyone's got any questions, please bring them up now, and we will offer them up to. Okay, then. All right. Well, at the moment, I don't. Do you know what? I think what it is, I think so many people are just absolutely enthralled with your accounts. I honestly think, like me, I'm a bit gobstrucked. Let's have a look.
Yeah, that's the question. From Ready Steady.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Yep. Okay. Can you and your wife sense them coming?
My wife doesn't. I do. Like
Okay.
I could be sitting in my living room, and I can sense that they're near me. I do. I sense it when they're near me.
Okay. Do you have more? Do you feel that you have more going on at home, or when you go out? Pardon me.
This stuff that's been going on at home has just recently happened. You know what I mean? Like a couple of days before Christmas. Every time I had an encounter was away from my home. This is just happening a couple of days before Christmas around my home. And I can feel it when they're around. I may not see them, I may not hear them, but I can feel, I know they're there. You know what I mean? It's a feeling you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Natalie and myself were talking about this, and we were discussing this on another show, saying that, you know, when all of these things seem to be related, and you know, when people have UFO encounters and they see lights in the sky and stuff like that, they often have paranormal stuff happen as well. You know, which is very strange in itself.
Yeah.
We've got Ready Steady Retro. It says, has any of your extended family or close friends experienced the hitchhiker effect?
No. I never heard any of my family members talk about anything like this. Actually, tell you the truth, I never talked to any of my family members about this, other than my wife, you know. But I never heard of anybody in my family talk about anything like this. You know.
Do you know what? I know it's difficult sometimes with family. I mean, my sort of immediate family, you know, my family is quite sort of fractured, you know. Anyway, really, but it would be with the cryptid side of things. It very often is hereditary. Okay, so you'll find that if you ask your parents or guardian or whatever, you know, kind of and not guardian, but your uncle or whatever, they will often have an experience much the same as you had. It's kind of like a hand-me-down sometimes, you know.
Now my grandmother from my father's side, then you know, I didn't think about this until later on in life, recently. But I can remember my grandmother. She was like a shaman. Like you back in the day, she used to make medicine, and if if a woman was having a baby, they used to call my grandmother to be like, you mean like the midwife, I guess. You mean what you call it, you know? But
Yeah.
my grandmother, she used to make medicine with different herbs and spices and plants, and you know what I'm saying? But I never ever heard her once ever talk about anything cryptid. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know whether that part of the spiritual world came from her to me. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
know my grandmother died in her sleep as she was 100 years old, and she didn't have a string of gray hair, not one.
Wow.
Her hair was jet black
Not even
at
wrinkles. She
100
didn't even
years
have
old.
wrinkles.
True or not?
Yep, no wrinkles either.
No wrinkles. Like, you know, she didn't look like she was 100 years old. You know what I mean?
She
Yeah.
was cooking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she was still cooking. She was still messing with the farm animals. She was still doing her house chores. And one day she went to bed and she never woke up. And she wasn't sick in the, you know how some people got diabetes or heart problems or something like
Mhm.
that?
Yeah.
She wasn't sick a day in her life. And she was 100 years old when she passed away.
Yeah.
I still wish I had pictures of her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she telling you.
Amazing woman. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's with these potions and stuff, they they have powers. Yeah. Ready Steady Retro said, have they or anything else touched or attacked you in bed? Now I would also add to that shadow beings. Have you ever come across shadow beings?
That's another thing that I talk to these two people, the shaman priest and to Donna. Sometimes if I'm looking at my phone and I'm laying in bed, okay, let's just say I'm laying in bed, I'm looking at my phone, I see something black go by me and I can see it from the corner of my eye. Sometimes it's tall, like 5, 6 feet, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But sometimes it's only a foot tall.
Uh-huh.
I see it on the edge of the bed and it just walks right by me, but fast. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I see it from
Yeah.
the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
That does happen to me. But as far as something touching me in bed, no.
Okay.
Other
Shadow beings are part and parcel of what you're going for.
right. Yep.
Have you
That I
had
think.
any? Yeah. Ready Steady Retro said, have you had any near-death experiences in the past?
No. I never had no death experience. I do. I do get depression. And as far as death experience, no. But sometimes I say to myself, with all this going on, I wish I wasn't even here.
Right.
And then I think about it and I feel kind of weak. Do me thinking like that. But sometimes this is so stressful
Mm-hmm.
that I just wish it would just end. Like my life would end because I don't want to deal with it anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do to Swamp? Do you feel that what you're doing with your research helps you with your depression because it kind of gives you a focus?
I think it does. I mean, like, sometimes I walk in the woods and I don't hear nothing, I don't see nothing. I might see a deer, a rabbit, a coyote, you know what I mean? But it does help me walking in the woods, being in nature, researching this stuff, talking to people, the community in the Cryptid podcast, and even the paranormal. It's been so great to me that I feel like everybody is give me a family. It's like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And that helps too. Me talking to Ethan Oates, or me talking to you, or me talking to my shaman priest, or me talking to Donna. You know what I mean? It helps me. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
it's kind of like
but
it's like a family. You know,
it
the
is.
cryptid
It is.
is like
Yeah.
a family.
And you mean I never felt. I mean, I never had that. I mean, you know what I mean. Other than me and my wife, you know what I mean. Like you know, we love each other and stuff like that. But like outside of the family, I really never had that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and it does get. I'm gonna be honest. It does get give me very depressing. You know what I mean? And it's you know, like sometimes I wonder why is this happening to me. You know what I mean? And you know, it's I don't know. But then when I think like that, I feel weak, and I'm like, all right, come on, man, you got to man up, get it together. You're tougher than that. Don't be thinking this stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like
Yeah.
I mean, because it works on your mind. I mean, you know what I mean? Not just your mind, your feelings and your heart. You know what I mean? It's just, you know,
It does. Yeah, it
it's
does. I
not
get it
easy.
because
It's not
you
easy.
know, yeah, you have an experience like that, and you know, it's equally as traumatic for you because obviously you love your wife, and seeing her in that situation, and basically, you know, even though you shot it, it was just useless. And you must have felt, you know, that you couldn't help her at that time, you know, because you
Well, when
shot
I
it,
shot it,
and
yeah, yeah, when I shot it 4 times and I didn't see it drop, and my mind is blown. This gun, like I said earlier,
yeah,
can knock down a grizzly bear. And in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, I got 2 more shots in his chamber. Other than that, I'm gonna have to jump on his back and start stabbing it. You know what I mean? Because I have my husband.
yeah.
What am I gonna do? I mean, you know, 2 more shots that don't drop and don't let my wife go. I got problems. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, that's how at that moment, that split second, that's what I was thinking. I got problems. I'm gonna lose my wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And luckily, on the 4th shot, I let my wife go, and it took off in the woods. If that didn't happen, it was just going to be me and Nick going a mano because, you know what I mean? I'm not going to let it hurt my wife in any way. You know what I mean? I'll
No.
die for my wife. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, that's just the bottom line, you know?
Yeah. No, it's you know, and of course it's going to be, you know, it's going to envelop every sort of waking moment, you know, that you're out and about searching and researching, and but it's something nice about,
It's not only
you know,
research, it's me walking in my backyard. I walk out the back door. Who's to say?
yeah,
Who's to say this thing had to come out like tonight at 1 o'clock in the morning? If I go outside and smoke a cigarette, who's to say it's not going to be there? You know what I mean?
do you know? Do you know that's the
don't
thing? I
know.
tell people, I tell people this, that you don't have to go hiking for miles and miles and miles, even days into the forest to find these
Nope.
things. You
Nope.
can see them. Okay, they hang around cities. They hang around in parks. They hang around in small woodlands. You know, if anything, they hang around those places near to population than they do out in the sticks. You
I'm
know,
going to give you an example. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, cool. Crack on. I'm done. Yeah.
I talked to this guy. He lives in Los Angeles, California. He messaged me on Messenger. He was telling me he works for the city of Los Angeles. He's the guy that works in the tunnels, underground tunnels in the city and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh wow. Yeah.
He was telling me that in the city of Los Angeles, that homeless people go missing. Okay? Stick with me. He tells me that homeless people goes missing. The cops don't do nothing about it because it's just another homeless person going missing.
Yeah.
He said other people that are homeless tells him, yo, so and so, I haven't seen him for 2 or 3 days. They know there's something taking these homeless people. They don't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
I got
No,
another.
we'll believe it. We'll believe it.
I got another guy in the city of Chicago tells me the same thing. This guy is a police officer. They know these creatures are in their cities, Chicago, downtown Chicago, okay? And they know the people are homeless, they're going missing. And this is a police officer told me this. For the city of Chicago.
Wow. Oh, we'll believe it though. We'll believe it.
So if you think these things are only in the woods,
Yeah,
wrong.
no. Yeah, that is. You're quite right. Absolutely.
I got city officials telling me this. I got a police officer in Chicago, and I got a maintenance man that works for Los Angeles.
Yeah,
telling me this.
No, you're quite right. No, they're you're bang on. I absolutely agree with you. You know, even in like local words, the town, the city, yeah. They if anything, they're more prevalent. Yeah. Just a quick one because I know time's getting on. Do you guys? I can see it's getting dark for your truck
I'm
window.
good.
Are you
I'm
okay?
good.
How's your wife? Are you okay, Mrs.
Okay.
Swamp?
I'm okay.
Okay, all right. No, I got Tobias Josephson, lovely guy. He's going to be on the show soon. He says, "Do you think they're following your gifts? Possibly."
We thought about that. I thought about that. I asked about that. Maybe. You know what I mean? There's a reason why I've been having dreams since my 20s to my 35 till now. I do believe by talking with the natives and my shaman priests, I do believe that, yeah, I was chosen for something for my ancestors. They're just, I'm next in line for something. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But, you know, what I'm going through and my dreams and stuff, I mean, you know, I believe I'm chosen for something. And I believe I have a gift, and I think they're trying to interact with my gift. That's my belief. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I can't explain it any other way because I really don't know for sure, but you know, this is what I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ready, Steady Retro said, had anything significant happened or had you been working on new land before your first encounter?
Have I been working on new land? I mean, I don't understand.
I'm not sure. Well, I'm going to take it to be, had anything significant happened to you or had you been working on new land before your first encounter? So I guess, were you working outside the state or have you had anything go on outside of the state you're in?
No, not everything's been happening to me is in Jersey, like in the South Jersey area. I did have a Sasquatch encounter north of me, about 60 miles north of me, but in the same state. But this happened years ago. But I haven't been to Tennessee in a while to my property, so I haven't seen. You know what I mean? Like, but everybody's telling me Tennessee. You know, it's happening place over there between the cryptids and the paranormal, and you know me buying my property when I did. I should be careful. Everybody's telling me to be careful. So I don't know.
Another question from Ready Steady. Do you see the fleeting shadow people in woods too? That's quite a good question, actually.
That's a good question, but no. Always in my house. Always in my house.
Yeah.
Always in that.
Yeah. Does Mrs. Swamp see them as well?
No, she doesn't see them. I because I asked her, I said, yo, did you see that? Or you know what I mean?
No.
And you know, she never sees anything. You know. I'm the only one that sees these shadow things. You know. And it's weird, like I tell you, they could be 5-6 feet tall, or they could be as short as a foot. But I always see something, you know.
Okay. All right. Oh, she meant any native land. Oh, that question before. Any land before. Any native land you've not been on before. So I guess like
property, the property that my wife's aunt used to own, like that horse farm and pig farm, that had an Indian burial ground. Burial ground. And
did it?
yeah. And the funny part was, well, not funny, but when our aunt sold the property, they moved away. But these people who took over the horse farm, they had a company that they hired to make trails and stuff with bulldozers and build buildings and stuff. And this company hired my business to do work on their equipment on this property. Because when they gave me the address, I wasn't even thinking, it's Tammy's aunt's place. And when I got there, I said, oh, shoot, I know what this is. This is my family's old farm, you know what I mean? So, I used to, like 2 or 3 in the morning, I used to service the equipment. If it need work done on it, I'm a diesel mechanic. And, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, get it ready for the guys who come in at 6 in the morning, you know what I mean? That's why they hired my services for it. But that property had an Indian burial ground.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's plenty of stuff there, that's for sure. It was old Indian burial ground.
Yeah.
Ready Steady Retro said, do you maybe think they're scaring you so you move to Tennessee? ?
Nah, I don't think so. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. When I moved to Tennessee, in my heart, 100%, I feel they're gonna follow me there anyway. It doesn't matter where I go. I can go to the UK, and I believe they're gonna follow me there. You know what I mean? It's something with spiritual. You know what I'm trying to say? It's something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
you are right. Absolutely. Yeah, you are. They tag you, and that's it. You're not gonna run away from it.
I don't care if you move to the moon. You know what I mean? I think they're gonna follow me there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No, 100%.
Natalie, you might understand what I'm trying to say more. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think it's spiritual. I think it. I mean, it's just something. I mean,
I just went. I went with a lady that's in the chat called Susan. I went on a ghost hunt with her, and I've been on other ghost hunts and paranormal stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I always get, only when I'm on my own, I always get interaction. When I'm with a group, I mean, God bless them, I love going with them, but I have to go off on my own in somewhere quiet on my own before these things interact. It doesn't matter where you are, you're gonna see shadow entities. It's all part and parcel of and I think I've got a rough idea why, but it's all part and parcel of what we have to experience. And that sounds a bit odd, what we have to experience, but it is. It's kind of like if you like, it's easy to explain in a way that what we experience, so maybe UFOs or maybe a Dogman or maybe a Bigfoot, rather than understanding the individual subject, the individual sighting, we have to take it almost like as being a hieroglyph. We have to read it. We have to read those signs. We have to piece them together and read them because they're pointing in a direction. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. It's all part of a sentence that we have to read, and there's an answer to that sentence. But all of this activity is taking you, Swamp, on that journey. It's showing you this journey. Yeah. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if you do see other stuff as well, including lights in the sky.
Oh yeah. I never see lights in the sky or anything like that. You know what I mean? I always look, you know what I mean? Like, but I never seen anything like that,
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of I don't know. There's no easy answers. No one has got the answers. It's just once again, I just want to thank you.
It's a rabbit hole. You know what I mean? When you go in this rabbit hole,
oh man,
no coming out, because I I'm searching for answers. I'm trying to put the puzzle together. I look at the paranormal. I look at stuff in the sky. I research the Native Americans. I do research on the Dogman, on the skinwalkers. You know what I mean? Sasquatch. My wife will tell you when I'm home, I'm hours and hours and hours of digging in this stuff. I could be 2 hours studying the native. I could be 2 hours studying the paranormal. You know what I mean? And I'm lucky to have friends that they're in everything, like the paranormal, the Sasquatch, Dogman, and it's like a family. And you know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like stuff comes to my mind. I mean, I'll give you one. That's a good one. And my dream, I had a dream. That was a couple of weeks ago. And in my dream, and I woke up right out of the sleep, and I said, "That's the answer." Now stay with me because this is going to be out there. But in my dream, something told me, in order to fight this creature, I would have to learn how to shapeshift. When I heard that in my dream, I basically jumped out of bed and I said, "That's the answer." Because I'm telling you, I'm going deep in this. In my dream, they said I have to learn how to shapeshift. So then I messaged my shaman priest and I said, I told her my dream. And I asked her, is it possible? Because the shaman knows about this stuff. You know what I mean? The shaman people knows about this. They started the shape-shifting stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I asked her, I said, out of blue, I said, do you think this is possible? And she didn't get back to me right away. The next day she messaged me. She said, I have to talk to you. And I'm thinking this woman might think I'm a wacko. You know what I mean? But she was telling me, yes, there's ways, but it's like Donna said, if you go that route, you'll never come back. If you go that route, you'll never come back.
Yeah. Does she mean like literally you won't come back, or you won't come back as the same person?
I won't come back as the same person. Yeah. She said in the Native Americans, when they did the ritual and they do the shape-shifting thing, you won't come back as you was before.
No.
And it's, you know what I mean? Now, Donna was doing a show with Ethan Notes, and she came up with something, and I said, well, that's got to be it too. Because she was saying back in the day, the Native warriors were going to war with these dogman creatures, okay? And they used to do a ritual, and they used to drink this stuff that they used to make, and supposedly gave them the power to fight these creatures. And when she was talking about that on Ethan Oates' show, I heard that, and that just like, I called Ethan, I said, listen, I got to talk to this lady. You know what I mean? I said, I don't care what you do. Tell her who I am. Tell her what I'm going through. I need to talk to this lady because first it was my dream about the shape-shifting business. And then when I heard her say that, I was like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, this is what's going on. You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about, the after effects. When all this happens to you and the after effects, now you're thinking, now you're studying. Now, you know what I mean? It's, you know, our feelings, my wife's feelings. She don't go in the woods no more. You know, it's their after effects, punishment. You know? And I was going down this dark rabbit hole.
Yeah.
When my shaman says to me, if you can do it, it's like there's a ritual, but you're not going to come back for it. In my mind, that split second, I said, it's well worth it. Whatever happens to me is worth it.
I
That's
think my main concern really is to make sure that everyone has to have. You can research and you can kind of like go into. You can go into the paranormal. You can go into the cryptid world. You can really dive deep. That's fine, but you also have to make sure that you have a safe space, and your home. You have to make sure is that safe space.
we don't have a safe space right now. As I'm talking to you, me and my wife can tell you right now, my home is not a safe space. When me and my wife are out and about, let's say going to the store or going somewhere, my mind is on my dogs. Are my dogs going to be okay? You know what I'm trying to say? I mean,
Yeah.
people worry about somebody breaking in your house. Like some people worry about fires in your house or something like that. I worry about these cryptid things in my house when I'm gone. I mean, that's what it is. And it's, it's pretty messed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
It is.
is.
I mean,
Absolutely. I mean, that's one thing that I make sure, and that is, I mean, when I go out into the woods or whatever I do, I make sure that, and I proved it, in the past, I make sure that this space where I am, wherever I am, is safe.
mhm.
Nothing can come in.
I don't have a safe space in my house.
Mm.
On my property, I don't feel my wife definitely doesn't feel safe. I don't feel
No.
safe in my house. I really don't. And it's kind of messed up. That's your house. I mean, that should be your safe space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not.
I think that's the first thing, really, kind of like to get nailed down. You've got to hammer that down real tight,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's something to work on. I'll well, I mean, we'll stay in contact anyway, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to, and I'll message you. I'll message you the next day or two. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I'm
we'll have a
always
chat.
there. It don't
Yeah.
matter what time. I'm always up. Like I say, I only get
Oh,
2-3
nice.
hours sleep a day, and I'm up. You know what I mean? I get people messaging me at 4 a.m. Hey, Swamp, what you doing? You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm here. Or
Yeah.
I mean, I'm working on the truck. I'm on the
you
side
never
of the
know,
road, working on the truck. You know.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean, with a clear mind and an open heart, I might be able to help you. Okay.
Yeah.
It's worth a try, isn't it? It's worth a try.
Yeah, it
You
is.
never know.
Anything. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't wish this on anybody. I don't wish this on anybody. Like I always said, look, Jimmy, real quick. There's a few podcasters that I watch and I just shake my head. They'll go to the LBL 2 o'clock in the morning and they dress up like they're a Navy SEAL. Okay? And they're in the middle of the woods. And you heard me say this on my video. And they're dressed up like a Navy SEAL. They got $10,000 camera, and they're trying to put on a show for views and for ratings. And my question is, I always say this to everybody. My question is, what you gonna do at 2 o'clock in the morning? You got an 8-foot creature 20 feet away from you, close to 1,000 pounds, and it's coming at you. What you gonna do then? I mean, I'm being serious.
Oh yeah.
What you gonna do when you got that creature coming at you? Even a Sasquatch, you know what I mean? I mean, 8-9 foot tall, you 1,000-pound creature.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? And all you're carrying is bear spray. I shot it with a 44 and it didn't do shit. Excuse my language. But I mean, so I tell these people, be careful what you're looking for. Because if you find it, it might be a real bad day for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
You know
I
what I
get
mean?
it. Yeah.
And I know they got their shows and stuff, but sometimes I said, man, that's they don't even got a clue. I mean,
no, that's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. They watch people like you, and they watch other experiences, and they think, right, okay, yeah, this is great. There's something out there. Let's go do it. And even if they don't find anything, it doesn't matter. It's the going out trying that gets that, and the more atmospheric they make it, the more
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I wish this never happened to me. I've come to a point where I wish I never even seen a Bigfoot back in 1989. I don't want no parts of this stuff. It's like I wish none of this ever happened to me.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, what I'm going through and what my wife's going through, it's not worth it. I don't want no parts of it. But now I'm in this rabbit hole. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? I got all these people helping me, I mean, what can I do?
Yeah.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I mean, I don't know.
What do you think, Natalie?
Well, I've always said the same thing, that the stuff I had to deal with the entities.
Yeah.
Like you say, people say, oh, you're so brave, I don't know how you can do it. And I'm like, I didn't have a choice. You deal with it because it's happening to you and you have no choice. It's got nothing to do with bravery.
Yeah.
And I, like same with you, I would, if I could go back in time, I'm not 100% sure that I would have made the decision that I did to deal with it.
Right.
Instead of just getting shot of the so it's like, I agree with you. You always get this point where you're just sort of like, this is not worth it. Because like I say, even if you, like you say, you make new friends, you learn loads of different things, but you come out of it like a veteran almost. You just sort of, it's tiring. It is tiring. But I don't know. But like things happen to you, you've just got to you've got to deal with it somehow.
I even told a friend of mine that she does a podcast that I told her, I said, if anything happens to me, you know what it was. You know what I mean? Oh, really? Like right now, I don't know if I'm going to survive an hour from now if I walk out my property or if I go out in the woods. I don't know what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
I could be another 411 thing, or that could be another attack on my wife. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I really don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't go out at night in the woods. No, you personally, I wouldn't at the moment, probably.
Well, during the day, nothing happens.
Mm.
And you want to figure things out, and you're desperate enough to figure things out, you'll go out there at night.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being straight with you. If you're in my predicament and you're trying to figure things out, you'll go out there at night. And I'm not afraid to go out there at night. She gets upset. I'm going to tell you, she cries, she yells, she screams, don't go. But I do. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just thinking, to be honest, I said it because I'm thinking of Mrs. Swamp, be honest, because I think, the thought of, she's in a house and kind of, she must feel a bit vulnerable in the house. And,
I know she does.
Unless you're with, if you got mates to go out with, that's better.
Yeah, sometimes like my friends that, I was telling you about, the animal control guy and the game warden guy, they'll go out with me, they'll do research on their off time. You know what I mean? Where they're not being law enforcement. You know what I mean? They'll go with me. But there's times I go out by myself. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? Everybody tells me not to. But then they understand why I do it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Hard to explain. I don't know.
You see, I don't know if it's just me, but with Roxy, who I live with, she's the first one to get my coat and shoes to get me out there. She's like, she can't wait to get me to get out.
Like, here, take all the bait. Go on, off you go. She's on the wheel.
Here's your torch. But no, joshing aside, I think you're both very brave. I just want to say that from everybody, and I'm sure everyone would agree with me. You are both very brave, and it's a testament really to how much you love each other, that you're still together after such a traumatic time. I just want to thank you really for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me, tell my stuff, because it's like I said, this is like a family. This new cryptid stuff is like a family. I got a lot of friends and everybody, it's just like a family. I can't explain it, but it's a great thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad that we've met you.
Yeah.
And we've spoken, because you're a lovely guy. You're a nice guy. I feel that you are a friend. Honestly, I feel that you are a friend now. And that's special.
The same way.
Special to me. Yeah,
we feel the same way. I just met you and Natalie yesterday. Even the first time I said hello to you, nice meeting you. But I feel the same way. I'm a good person. I got a good heart. This is why I don't understand why this is happening to me. Sometimes I think, what did I did in life to deserve this? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What did I do so bad that I gotta go through this? You know what I mean? But I don't know.
It's I think sometimes
that's your path through the rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Like in your dream, that's your path through the rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
It is away from you, so hopefully it feels worse than it is, isn't it? But maybe
sometimes I just I don't know. Just sometimes I sit by myself and I want to cry. You know what I mean? I do. You know what I mean? Because I want to cry. You know what I mean? Because I think about all this, I get emotional. I think about my wife's pain. I think about me. You know what I mean? And sometimes I just want to cry. You know what I mean? And I'm supposed to be the 6'2", 220-pound guy. Supposed to be a tough guy. And sometimes I just want to cry. You know what I mean? And it's true. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be truthful.
Yeah. Oh no, I understand why. I mean, I'm 5'6" 3/4, but I bawl my eyes out on occasions. Believe me, and not just when I look in the mirror. Hey, dude, it's a funny thing we're going through. There is a reason for it. There's a reason.
And I'm just trying to find out what the reason is. You know what I mean?
Well, we're all on that trip. And if we can help each other, we'll hopefully get to an end. We'll get to an end and maybe an answer for this. That's what we're all hoping, isn't it?
I hope when I do this cutting ritual, I hope this goes away. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I don't want no part of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't wish this on nobody.
But then if you do the cutting ritual and it goes away, then does that mean that your friends like myself, you would have to shut the door on the Cryptids pages and shut the door on?
That's funny. We talked about that today. Me and my wife talked about that today. If I do the cutting and it goes away, but it's like I tell her, okay, I do the cutting and it goes away, but you got to understand, I get at least 3 to 4 phone calls a week on people that have problems and have encounters, not with just Dogman, with other things. They ask me. So, if I can help somebody, I'm still in the game. You know what I mean? But
you wanted to be a priest.
But I gotta be careful not to bring this back.
Yeah. Now, wouldn't that be a lovely thing to do?
Oh yeah. I still help people to today. You know what I mean? I talked to a lady last night. She's got problems in her property in Tennessee.
Yeah. Do you know the one thing that makes me truly, truly happy, really happy, is helping people,
Yep.
and really
100%.
trying to, if I see that I can help people in different ways, it might be just like kind of giving them a bit of confidence, or
I had a grown man that went to Iraq. I think he did what, like 3 tours in Iraq?
I believe it.
With a problem on his property in New Jersey. His backyard backs up to the Pine Barrens. He called me crying. And this man did 3 tours in Iraq. Tough
he
man.
saw some crap.
Strong
He saw some
man.
shit.
And he had some problems on his property. And he called me scared and called me crying. Crying. A grown man.
Mm.
And I get them calls all the time. And I do. I get them calls all the time. I don't know.
I mean, I can see that being your path,
Maybe. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
You got a lovely way with you, with people, the way you talk, and you're very honest, open, and I think that comes across.
Yeah. It's like, who knows? I mean, I don't know what my future is, but I don't know.
We'll see.
I just don't know. We're going to see, though. We'll find out.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna wrap up for tonight because it's nearly 3.5 hours, 3 hours 21 minutes now.
Wow.
I know.
Well, you asked me if it was going to be an hour. I said it might take longer. I warned you.
No, it's fine. Sometimes it doesn't. It's good to do this because it's an emotional trip. This one's been an emotional trip.
It is.
And cutting short, an emotional. I'm not going to do that. Because I think at home, people watching this, I think it may have just helped them a little bit as well,
I hope so. If I can help one person, I'm happy.
I feel the same. The same.
I tell you all the time, and other researchers. If I can help one person, I'm good. I'm happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel exactly the same, brother. I really do. Good. All right. Well, listen, Mrs. Swamp, thank you very much for your time and putting up with me.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you, Natalie. Nice to meet you, Natalie.
Yes, pleasure.
All right. I shall
send me a friend request and I'll accept it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, that will all stay in touch and talk and all that. Yeah.
All right, will do.
All right. Thank you very much, Swamp. Take care.
Thank you.
Bless. God bless you. Bye-bye. Hey, what do you think, Nat? Good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was not what I was expecting, to be fair. It was
no, same here. It was very
than I was expecting to be.
What a lovely couple. What a lovely couple.
Yeah, Mrs. Swamp was like, I wanted to give her a hug, and I don't hug anyone.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
It really brings it home to you how this sort of thing does affect people. From what you went through, to seeing a Dogman, just.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Thank you, very steady.
It changes you, doesn't it? It's like, I think if it doesn't change you, it's not, it's not what it seems.
Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, it does, and it's I think it's been good. I think it has been good. I think it it has been kind of it's been a emotional, really, trip. And I think it's been a good one though. It's been a good one. I've enjoyed it. Right then. You got anything else to add, Nat?
No, I'm running out of battery now.
All right, then. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better soon, mate. You've done your hair as well, haven't you?
I cut it. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little bit more styled than usual. Normally, it's just like wind blowing.
Yeah.
It's had a hat on it, so
Yeah.
yeah, it looks.
Yeah,
a
I
little
noticed when you
more
first came on, I thought, oh, she's trimmed that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was annoying me, so I cut it last night. So I actually got it right this time.
Yeah, it looks nice. You've done a good job. You've done a good job. In the mirror with another mirror behind you, one of those things.
No, just make it up. It's like just sit here with a pair of scissors and over. I can't see the back of my head anyway, so it's probably like this at the back.
Then it's at the back of your
I
head,
can't
so
see
who
it, so
cares?
who cares? As long as
Who
it looks
cares?
right
Who's
in
gonna?
front.
That's it. Who's gonna see that?
Exactly.
Let's have a look. Excellent. Thank you, Phil, Natalie, mods, and chat. Yep, exactly. Yep. Thank you very, very much to all the moderators. You know, you've been absolutely outstanding, and also to Roxy for the admin and bringing up all the questions and stuff. Really appreciate that. And from us, we shall say good night, shan't we?
Yes, we will. Good night.
Right, okay then. Let me just see if this will work, see if the final screen will work. Right, let's have a look. It probably won't, you know it doesn't.
Push the
Right.
button.